Alrighty.
Okay. I think that for me, the thing that I admire is being authentic. I think as leaders, a lot of people preach being authentic and just being real and like being truthful. But I think that to be a real leader, like you have to admire and like acknowledge the bad side of things and be real with the people that you're leading and like you're talking to. So that way, when you do tell them the good things, they also aren't blindsided, like she said, to the things that they don't know about.
How many of y'all agree with that? I think that's true. I think a lot of all leaders need to be authentic, need to be themselves. Even if it's in a scary moment, being yourself will always get you through the hard times.
One leadership quality admire, I would say, is a leader who says what needs to be said in the moment, even if it's something that people usually wouldn't say. Like being where a lot of people would just keep their mouths closed, and also leaders who are observant and able to notice things about the people who they're leading. So when they talk to the people that they're leading about how they're feeling because they were observant and noticed something about them, that really shows how much they care as a leader about the people who they're leading, and that in turn will open people more up and get more people to follow what makes a true leader in a sense.
I agree with that. I have a question I want to ask y'all. Have y'all ever been in a moment, surrounded in a heated moment? Got the balloons pop, but this round you guys will be getting your balloon pop. All right. So what it says is act out a bad leader versus a good leader. Everyone guesses which is which. All right. So with that, if you answer her, if you guess wrong, then you get your balloon popped. If you guess her wrong, you get your balloon popped. a good leader or a bad leader? Okay, go ahead. And then you gotta guess which bad leader he's acting like.
Here, eat this apple.
Say it again.
Here, eat this apple.
Got 10 seconds. Y'all want to do the countdown to 10 seconds? 9. Leader. Yeah, somebody that you knew, somebody who probably know that did something that was good. Right. Right. He didn't guess that. But it's with the left. So yeah. Yes. All right. Of freedom fighting.
Oh, I have to guess.
Okay. Can we get 4 more people? Four new people. 4 new people. 4 new people. 4 new people. Okay, I'm gonna just pick Eeny, Meeny, Miny, Mo. Okay. Let's see. You guys went. Did you go yet? We have, it's an interaction, we have to interact. Okay. Okay, who else? Who else did we go? Could you come up, please? Yes. Yes, thank you. Thank you. You. Yes. And could you come up, please? All right, this will be our last round. Can we move it on to the next slide, please? Start a 10-second group chant about leadership. So I'm not gonna pop the balloon on this round, but I want you guys to start a 10-second chant about leadership. You guys have, together. Actually, to make it a little bit spicy, 2 on 2. So I'm gonna give you guys 1 minute. I'm gonna give you guys 1 minute to create it, but then you guys have to be able to say it in 10 seconds. So I'm gonna put a timer on for 1 minute, create it, and then I'm gonna give you guys 10 seconds to say it. 1 minute has started. 1 minute, 60 seconds. To create your chant. Okay. 35 seconds. 34, 33, 32, 31, 30, 29. And I'm gonna have the crowd decide which one touched them more. Okay, when we say we are the future, you guys say we are the change, okay? We are the future. We are the future. We are the future. All right, which one did you guys get touched by more? Which one did you guys get moved by? All right, they're the winners. All righty. So we just did 2 interactive activities, icebreaker and pop the balloon. I hope you guys enjoyed those 2 activities. Right now we're going to segue into introducing one of our hosts, one of our leaders for this panel, for this summit. I want to give a round of applause to Emma. Thank you. That wasn't loud enough. Ooh, aren't you guys excited? Let me see more enthusiasm. What's going on? Are we sleeping? Okay. How have you guys been feeling so far? How's the event been going so far? Did you guys like the icebreakers? Did you enjoy it? Which one was your favorite? The first one? Why was it your favorite? I can't hear you. They acted like a chicken. Okay. All right. So this event is basically just networking. Are you guys familiar with networking? Do you guys like networking? Yes? Okay, and what is your favorite thing about networking? Can you say that one more time?
I think just getting to know different people from different backgrounds is really cool.
What's your name?
My name is Osa.
Can we give a round of applause for her? And I forgot to introduce myself. I'm Emma, right away. I'm here with Howard University, so shout out to Howard. Woo! Okay, and right now we're going to be introducing a video, so pay close attention to that. And later in the day, we're going to have some refreshments in the back, so brace yourselves for that as well. Thank you.
founder of Precious.
Hey, Kabu leaders. I'm really excited to be with you virtually.
I'll be singing, oh, good shepherd, I'm right where I belong. I belong here. Oh, I belong here. Yeah. And all my days I will stay in the arms of my Father. And all my days I'll remain in the house of the Lord. Here all my days I will stay in the house of my Father. Days I will stay in the house of the good shepherd. My soul has finally found its rest, and now I have no regrets. I'm fearing nothing. Oh, good shepherd, lead me on. I'll be singing, oh, good shepherd, I'm right where I belong. I belong here. If you're looking for me, I'll be with Jesus. I belong here. If you're looking for me, I'll be with him. I belong here. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. How you all doing? Okay, so the room looks a little bit scattered through. So if we could like take some steps forward, take some steps forward, take some steps forward, and in that way we could like fill it up a bit. Thank you. Good afternoon, distinguished guests, panelists, speakers, student leaders, and future change makers. My name is Kome Igbegidi. I'm the Executive Director of the Capital City Youth Leadership and Service Corps, and also the Group Pastor for Oasis Capital City Church, conveners of the Campus Leaders Summit. Thank you. It is with great excitement and deep honor that I welcome you all to the inaugural edition of the Campus Leaders Summit 2026. So this is not just an event, it's a vision, leadership, purpose, and possibilities. I have a whole speech that was written here for you guys, nicely curated. But I want to say something from my heart to every one of you. Over 10 years ago, as a 14-year-old who was stepping into college, my parents were really scared because, you know, over 10 years ago, a 14-year isn't the ideal age to be in college. So for them, they weren't sure what the future of this young girl who was stepping into college far away from home, far away from everyone she calls family. Who are the influences? Who does she meet? What will her future look like? So my parents were a bit edgy. To them, maybe take a 1 year off and get into college at the age of 15, but I was too smart. I knew exactly what I wanted. I told my parents someday I will be standing right at the United Nations and I'll be speaking to global leaders. So at the age of 14, I got into college. And I graduated at the age of 17 into 18 because I did a 3-year plus course. But it wasn't about the age. It was about the vision that I met when I got on campus. It was a leadership, an opportunity that I got. That discovery that made me who I am today. That challenge that took me back far away from home in Nigeria to make a change in the world. So standing here today is a very accomplished, successful youth leader, a United Nations Association Women co-chair for the Equity Generation Group. I work as a senior product manager with ServiceNow. I own chains of businesses, do a lot of work around strategies and operations for large organizations as well, and I lead a church and youth organization. One of my goals in life is not to be the only one or among the very few people who have stepped into that cadence of self-discovery at a very early age of their life, nor do I want to be one of the very few people who is working in the exact identity and purpose that they have and worrying about what next it is. So in the midst of conversation with my amazing admin leaders and having together Noella, Eden, and Tolu, who's right here, and we sat together, we said, what do we want to do for the next generation, you all seated here today? How can we instill that same courage? How can we instill that same passion? How can we instill that same drive that make you exactly who you want to be, but first self-discovering who you are on college? Discovering who you are at a very early age. Discovering who you are and taking the mantle, not just because you're a leader on campus, because after campus, just so you know, you have 4 to 5 years, tops. There's a whole life outside of the space. A whole life out of the space. So what do you become 10 years from now? So I look through 10 plus years of my college life and I'm excited about the marks that I made back on college. I have friends who have become family. But most importantly, I am excited about the future that I'm living today and the next generation that we're building. So at Capital City, one of the things we do goes beyond even a church or a Christian organization. It becomes a community that fosters the same growth where I stand today. So what we want to encourage every one of you, for all our speakers, from our keynote speakers to our youth panelists, to our student panelists, they were carefully curated. Men and women who are doing amazing work in their ethnos. So all the conversation driver today is 3 reasons. One, when you step out of this room, the question becomes, who am I? The second is, who do I want to be? The third is, what can I change? Because when you have these 3 questions answered, there is nobody stopping you. There is nothing that can stop you. So it's going to be a lot of, conversation going on. It might feel a bit boring at some point. You might get a bit carried away. You might be tired and feeling sleepy. But I want to indulge every one of you. Give the next hours together. Listen to the wisdom that's carefully curated from every one of our speakers that we have today. But more importantly is the excitement of the future that every one of you will be. My success from the inaugural edition of the Campus Leaders Summit is seeing every one of you thrive. It's seeing messages and DMs telling me that post this event, this was the change I started. It's seeing every one of you in the next 5 years taking public offices, doing stuff in technology, in healthcare, in media, in the world system, and I'm excited because a few years ago, I stood here speaking to you guys. I want you to be the next gen leader who we will be inviting to Campus Leaders Summit version 2. So while I have a whole beautiful created note today, I believe speaking from my heart makes the most sense to me this evening. And I want to encourage you all to stay still. And I'm excited because I get to pull together the most beautiful minds. So if you're here today, it's either because you're already a leader or you're stepping into leadership. And one thing that we want to ensure that you get out of today is not hiding. You're not scared. You're bold, taking steps, changing your campuses, changing your communities. Start by changing your immediate environment, but taking all of the chains with you and saying that, yes, I can, yes, I will, and I'm doing it. So once again, I am Koma Igbegidi, so excited to welcome you all. So many people call me PK because I'm a pastor, and yes, I'm a full-time pastor as well. But I have the honor to welcome someone that's so important to me, a mentor, a leader, and a colleague. Before I invite him on stage, I know that there is a presentation that gets to announce him, and it's my joy to let the technical team cue in our second keynote speaker. Thank you.
John Dean is a customer success executive.
Testing. Thank you. Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. It's a beautiful Saturday, so I appreciate you being here today. Kay, thank you for that. For that setup. Let me ask you something. When you walked in this room today, what did you walk in as? Student, a graduate, or someone figuring it out? Here's what I know about you on a day like today. This part of the semester for any of the schools you attend, and I am a Howard University graduate. Was not included, so undergrad and graduate school here. You're already a leader, whether you have a title, a role, a designation, or you're in power or enacting now. I want all of you to understand you're already leaders because you have a commitment to personal improvement, professional aspirations. You're a leader. Accept it, embrace it. You may not have hit the stage yet, but you are a leader. So the question I also have as a follow-up is, when the stage finds you, will you be ready? So I work at a company called ServiceNow. It's one of the fastest moving technology companies in the world. Every day, the decisions that are made by people in my role and even further up in executive leadership affect millions of people in thousands of different enterprises. I've been in countless meetings where the money, right? The money pivots and decisions are made in the span of a casual conversation. I'll tell you the truth that no one told me when I was sitting where you're sitting. The technology is the easy part. What's hard is the human part. Knowing how to lead, when to adapt, how to deliver, and why it matters. And you must never forget your why. That's what we're going to talk about a little bit today. Not theory, not lecture, real principles from a real career for the very real world that you are stepping into. And I'll start with an uncomfortable truth about career readiness. Your degree, and many of you know this already, your degree opens the door, but it does not walk you through it. In technology or enterprise environment, what separates those who rise quickly and those who plateau isn't intelligence, it's preparation, but it's also network. And I mean a specific kind of preparation. First, understand the system before you try to change it. When I joined ServiceNow and some of the other organizations I was in, especially at the beginning of my career, I didn't come with a revolution. I came in with a notebook. I observed, I asked questions, I mapped how decisions were made, who held influence, and where the friction was. In your first 90 days, wherever you are, internship, postgraduate career,
on any job, even before you get there. Your most valuable skill is listening. Second, become fluent in data and outcomes. So I heard a conversation earlier about leveraging AI and how maybe it was overused and it led to a unfavorable outcome by one of you in the audience. Make sure that you always keep your balance with your data and your outcomes. All right? Technology companies operate in one language, and that's impact. Not effort, not intention, impact. What you meant to do is what you need to deliver on. You're not going to be evaluated on being close enough. You're going to be evaluated on your impact. What did you ship? What did you improve? What problem did you solve? And by how much? If you can learn to speak in outcomes before you even have a job or begin your career, you will stand out before you even walk in the door. Example I'll give, I have twin 19-year-old sons. Unfortunately, they did not choose Howard and they broke my heart. But they're at great schools. But one of them wants to build a career in sports communications. And he's actually transferring from his current school to University of Maryland College Park. And the dean of that school told him the best way he can stand out coming in the door is to make sure that he understands statistics and data. So taking a foundational class that helps you drive and be more analytical about your outcomes, leveraging data, is huge. Even if it's not your game, it's not your lane, you're still going to need it. Okay? Third, build your network like it's infrastructure. How many of you have heard of personal board of directors? By show of hands. Okay, so I'm going to share a little bit with you because I didn't know either. When I was freshman here at Howard, I didn't learn about it until graduate school. A personal board of directors is a group of individuals who can either be close to your peer level or be someone who is a mentor level, my age range or younger or older, who has a vested interest in your success. They don't have to necessarily be in the career space that you want to move into. They could be your pastor. They could be your doctor. They could be someone in your community or someone here on campus, professors, what have you. But those individuals you build a relationship with because they want to see you succeed. And you most especially need to have someone who is on that board or a number of someone's on that board who are in your career space so that they can advocate for you in spaces and rooms that you're not in yet. That's the value of a board of directors. Okay, those relationships aren't transactional. They're meaningful. Your next opportunity will not come from a job board. It will come from people who believe in you. Invest in those relationships now. Learn how they work while your calendar is still yours to control. So I want to talk about 3 words that will define your career ceiling from the campus to your journey. And that's excellence, adaptability, and learning. Not separately, together as a discipline. Operational excellence means you do the ordinary extraordinarily well. Even if it's something you know you're just doing because you got to get a good grade, you have no passion in it, still have a commitment to do it extraordinarily well. It means you meet deadlines, not because someone is watching, but because your word means something. It means your work is clear, your communication is crisp, and when you take on a task, it's done right the first time. In a world obsessed with innovation, the people who consistently execute are the ones who get trusted with the biggest problems. Adaptability is not a soft skill, it's a survival skill, especially today. Someone sent me just yesterday a Forbes magazine article that shows that 40% of the global wealth in the world is centered in the top 10% of the population. 40% of trillions of dollars is centered in the top 10% of individuals. That's maybe 1,000 people. So your commitment to excellence, your commitment to adaptability is your survival skill. It's not an option. Think about what has changed in just since you started high school to coming to college. AI entered the workforce. Entire industries have been disrupted overnight. Remote work rewired how teams and people collaborate, and roles that didn't exist 5 years ago are now essential. 5 years from now, some of those roles won't exist anymore, but they're essential today. The leaders who thrived weren't the ones who predicted every change. They were the ones who pivoted the fastest. Ask yourself honestly, when your plan breaks down, do you freeze or do you flow? Learn how to flow. And continuous learning. This is the one that I'm most passionate about. Every year, I take advantage of ServiceNow's budget for individuals to continue to learn. I'm a glutton for punishment. I'm actually going to be applying for a terminal program to start in the fall of 27 because, again, continuous learning. You're never too old to learn. And one of the things that I learned from people older and wiser than me is you are only as old as your ability to process new information. So over time, I hope that seed pops back up after you've had some kids and you might be a little tired and you might be like, oh, I can't learn anything anymore. You always can learn something new, and I encourage you to have that mindset today. Okay, in enterprise technology, your knowledge has a shelf life. The moment you stop learning, you start falling behind. The most dangerous place in your career is when you feel like you've arrived, because in my industry, the destination keeps moving. Make learning non-negotiable. Certification, courses, mentors, books, experiences, all of it counts. Not because your employer or your industry requires it, but because your own growth demands it. So pulling back the curtain for a moment, large companies like ServiceNow are extraordinary machines. And like any machine, they can be slow, political, complex, and sometimes very frustrating. I want to give you the insider knowledge it took me years to learn. Find your lane and own it completely. Early in your career, the temptation might be to want to do everything. Resist that. Pick a domain and go deep and become the person people come to. Generalists have value, but specialists get called first. 2, solve problems no one asks you to solve. Every organization has pain points that nobody owns. They exist in the gaps between teams, between priorities, between what leadership sees and what the ground floor experiences. The people who advance fastest are not the ones who completed their job description. They're the ones who saw the gap, stepped into it, and delivered without being asked, but also because they communicated what they've done and they built relationships too. 3, understand how value flows. What does your organization care about most? Is it customer satisfaction? Is it efficiency? Whatever it is, every initiative you work on should connect back to that. When you can articulate how your work moves, the needle on what matters most, you stop being a resource and you start being a strategic asset. And 4, and this goes back to what I heard earlier about the question of failing, fail loudly, learn loudly. In high performance environments, failure is not the opposite of success. It's part of the process. What distinguishes great performers isn't the absence of failure, it's the quality of the retrospective. When something goes wrong on your watch, own it, analyze it, fix it, and share what you learn. Never deflect, never displace. The act of intellectual honesty builds more trust than 10 successes ever could, especially right now. When you're in college, take advantage of the status as a student. You can make 10 million mistakes. If you own them and you apply what you've learned forward, it will create tremendous value in your own personal brand, in your own professional brand. Now let's talk about leadership. Not the title, not the corner office, the practice of it. Currently, I'm not a people leader. Tired of it, a little bit. But I am in leadership roles, and I do support folks earlier in career than me. And I do try my best to build relationships and leverage my relationships to make connections for those who are just starting out or haven't gone further along in their career than I have. Leadership in a high-performance environment is not about being the loudest voice in the room. It's about being the clearest, the calmest, the most prepared. Here are the principles I return to again and again. Lead with integrity, especially when it costs you something. In a world that often rewards optics over substance, your integrity is your most durable competitive advantage. Guard it. The moment you compromise it even once, even quietly, it takes years to rebuild. Serve before you seek. The greatest leaders I've ever worked alongside with and studied from spent more time enabling others than advancing themselves. They made their teams better, more capable, more confident, and in doing so, they created loyalty that no salary can buy. Communicate with radical clarity. If you want to be trusted with bigger responsibility, communicate in a way that leaves no confusion. Simple language. Clear structure, consistent follow-through. In fast-moving organizations, unclear communication is one of the most expensive problems there is. Stay in the room. When pressure builds, when the project is behind, when the client is unhappy, when the answer isn't clear, the temptation is to step back. The leader steps forward. Not with all the answers, but with presence, composure, and commitment to figure out alongside the team. Again, the function of leadership is to produce more leaders, not more followers. So in closing, I want to leave you with this. The world that you're in is very complex, much more connected than the one I stepped into, and more consequential than any generation before you has faced. And here's what it means. It needs more of you, not less. It needs your perspective, your hunger, your refusal to accept that this is just how things are done. It needs the kind of leadership that doesn't wait for permission, that builds, learns, adapts, and serves. You will encounter organizations that are slow. There are thousands of them. Managers who are uninspiring and only lead by title only. Systems that resist change. Don't be defeated by them. Be the reason the system changes. Take one thing from today, one principle, one commitment to yourself, and carry it out of this room into every room you walk into from here. Because the world is not waiting for a perfect moment, it's waiting for a prepared leader. That leader is all of you. Thank you. Questions? Anybody have any questions?
All right, that was a great talk. Thank you again for that. Another round of applause for him. All right, now we're gonna segue into our first panel, our panel one. I know everybody's been waiting for that all day. We're gonna call up David, which is our moderator. Then we're gonna also call up, let's give him a round of applause. Then we're gonna call up Ramon Hung from Howard University. And then we're gonna call it Jasmine Shanubi, which is from George Mason. All right, the panel's yours.
Hello everyone, my name is David Adibamo. I am a junior of the University of Maryland. I also major in information science, and on the side I do content creation on Instagram and on TikTok, and I'm so happy to be here. Why I have started content creation was I did it for fun. I started in 2022, 2023, and I was getting interaction from it, and I really liked it. And from there, it has also like influenced how I behave today, because I love being an inspiration to people. I love helping people achieve their dreams, or even if they want to dwell in content creation. I'm glad to be here, and I'm glad to be with these moderators to hear everyone's perspective and everyone's views. Thank you.
We'll do intros. Hello? Okay, we'll do intros. I'm Jasmine Shanubi.
I'm David. I'm a man.
I'm a junior at George Mason. I'm studying community health with a concentration in global health and a minor in social justice and human rights. And then in the fall, I'll hopefully start my master's program in public health. I'm a leader for my Christian organization on my campus, along with our Mason Athletics School Spirit team, to just cultivate a spirit of camaraderie and school spirit, since it is a commuter school and people don't really care about sports. And then in addition to all of that, Onyx Club, and just bringing everybody to the same level of understanding with Black and African culture, and then student government as well, and various leadership roles with that.
What's up? My name is Amen Hong. I'm a freshman finance major on a pre-med track. I go to Howard. I also do social media as well. I haven't been doing it as long, but I started less than a year ago. I've built a following of over 80,000 on Instagram. Today was pretty big. I was featured on CNN this morning. I gave an interview on CNN, and I'll be on USA Today tomorrow. So social media's kind of opened a lot of doors for me, and it's allowed me to meet people and gain opportunities that I could have never imagined. Like, God is just so good. And yeah, so yeah, I'm happy to be here. Yeah.
Jasmine, so how can students create inclusive, meaningful spaces on campus while staying true to their values and beliefs?
Sorry, can you say the question one more time?
All right. So how can students create inclusive, meaningful spaces on campus while staying true to their values and beliefs?
Okay, yes. That is a good question. When I think about the words inclusive and meaningful spaces, I think about various types of people feeling encouraged and safe and empowered to participate fully in the spaces that they find themselves in. And I think about a student creating that space for other students, you first have to take your mindset from being a student and transitioning it to being a human interacting with other humans. Because as a leader, at the end of the day, you're just interacting with people who are going through various challenges in life, and you have to meet them where they're at and adapt in that way. I think when it comes to talking about going after diverse communities and interacting and surrounding yourself with people who don't look like you, I feel like I have a cheat code because of my faith, because God calls me to love people despite their race, their gender, their sexuality, their faith, any of that. And that's the foundation that I stand on to interact with people in any leadership role I find myself in. I also have to take into account the previous experiences that I've had with leadership on the receiving end, take their good and bad and implement that into the ways that I lead people on my campus as well, highlighting the things that I did not appreciate and do the exact opposite for the other people that I'm interacting with. And then, yeah, I would just say that as a leader, you have to just continuously take off your own shoes and put on other people's shoes and meet people where they're at and relate and listen. In spaces where I'm sharing my faith or just talking to strangers, I do share, but then I stop and I listen, because good leaders use their ears. And I feel like that is a very important point that I want to emphasize, that you have to not just give direction, but receive it as well, and collaborate. And then, yeah, I feel like and then your faith as well. The belief aspect of everything, it doesn't matter what you believe, pick something, believe in it, stand on that, and operate from that. Because if you're a leader who's wavering in your beliefs and your values, you're not a leader worth following or trusting, because you yourself are not staying true to something that you truly believe in. And as somebody who wants to follow a leader, those are the qualities that I look for. Are you standing on business and doing what you need to do in your own walk? So yeah, for me, that's my relationship with God, and just continuously humbling myself at the feet of Him and other people in service to them. The last thing I would say is that leadership is a privilege, and that nobody is entitled to lead anybody, and that is the mindset that you should start off with, that if you're using your gifts and your talents to lead people towards a common goal, you have to first and foremost understand that that is a privileged position, and that you should handle that with care, and think about that constantly. So the 4 things that I would leave you with, to sum it all up, is to, 1, continuously take off your shoes and allow other people's shoes to be put on and meet people where they're at. 2 would be to stop and listen, always. 3 would be to, what did I say? Yeah, to stay firm on your beliefs, not waver on them, stay true to who you are, and just go with that, because you're entitled to believe in what you want to believe in. And then the last thing I would say is just to be humble and to continuously go after the things that you care about, and to invite people into a space where they feel heard and seen and encouraged to participate fully in those spaces that you're trying to create.
Thank you for that. Let's give her a round of applause. All right, amen. So you've built a strong presence by sharing your journey online. How can students use their voice and platform to inspire others while staying authentic?
That's a good question. I think first of all, a lot of people get it confused that you need a big platform to kind of share your opinions on things and, share what you think. And I think that's far from the case, because, in order to build a platform, you gotta, speak your mind in general. And I think a lot of people can relate to that. Like, people can read what's real and what's fake. I think a lot of people, especially at Howard, can tell what's real and what's fake. And I think a lot of that goes to your personhood and who you are as a person. Like, if you start content with just the main idea of getting famous, making money, then I feel like it gets a little bit harder, because you're always focused on the numbers. Focus on, okay, bet I want to get 1 million likes here, 1 million views here. And you're not really focused on the fun of content and doing what you started it for, but kind of expressing yourself and speaking your personal thoughts and what you feel like as a person. And I think in order, like, a lot of people ask me, to be like, how do I start? Like, how do I start content creation? How do I grow? And I find it kind of strange sometimes, because I don't really realize that, I might be where some people are trying to aim for. And, it's something, because there's people that I'm trying to aim for. Like, I'm trying to go even higher. Like, I set a goal for myself. I want to reach 100,000 followers by the end of this school year. So I think by setting goals for yourself, it can allow you to kind of grow forward and build your network, but also, like, find passion in what you're doing, bro. Talk about what you genuinely are interested in. It makes content and it makes what you're doing so much more fun because you're speaking and you're showcasing your life, like your genuine self, and people can see that. Like people, you just radiate a sense of like joy coming out of you when you're doing something you love. That's why people say like, if you do what you love, it's not really work. So if you're posting like day in your lives, right? If you're doing stuff that actually is authentically you, like just different hobbies, do what you love to do and post about that. If you love crocheting, then crochet. If you love knitting, playing guitar, singing, do that. But like find that niche and what's gonna set you apart. And in all honesty, like a tip that I learned from somebody, Zeddy Will, he told me that the way he grew on content is by looking at other people's content, right? And saying, okay, if they can do this and make hundreds of thousands off this, why can't I do the same thing? And that's true, you can. So take these other people's videos, right, and use that to inspire you. Whether that's by not copying the video, but kind of like imitating the video and just adding your own spin on it. Like, if it worked for them, why wouldn't it work for you? And it's the same thing. And this, I don't know, it's kind of strange, but one viral video can change your life. Like, you know, one-hit wonders, one viral video can change your life. I gained over 12,000 followers off one video, which is crazy to think about. There's 8 billion people in the world, so like the amount of followers you can grow off one video is crazy. And with that, in all honesty, it does come money. But you gotta understand your why and why you started. You started because this is something you loved about. And keep God the main center of your life in whatever you do, because when you get bigger, you know, it'll be hard to kind of figure out who's real, who's fake, because you're gonna meet a lot of people and they'll see who you are from your Instagram, your TikTok. So what you gotta do is just keep firm in your faith, understand why you started this, and just trust in your heart and trust in your values. So that's what I say.
Thank you for that. I do agree with what Amen and Jasmine has have to say. Jasmine mentioned something about nobody's entitled to be a leader, and that's very, very much true, that you don't really call yourself up to be a leader. You don't just go to like a community, a center, and be like, oh, I'm going to lead, I'm going to direct everyone. No, it's something that you're called up to do, just like God. Like God called Abraham, God called Isaac, God called everyone, and that's what the definition of a leader. One thing I want people to know is there are different types of leaders. There are democratic leaders, there are autocratic leaders, but the one that has stood out to me is the servant leader, which is Jesus. You're serving the people, you're not serving yourself. In the break room before, someone mentioned that said something about they like a leader that says what, like some people won't talk, but this particular person will say something like to like hold the entire room. Yeah, that's what you're meant to do. You're meant to like control the room and everything. And Amen mentioned something about you not needing a big platform. Since I've been making content for like 3 years, and I am very happy and proud to say is that I've gained an enormous amount of followers. I have made up to 50K on TikTok, but the thing is that even till now, I still don't feel like I am where I am meant to be, and sometimes that brings me down. And Amen also mentioned something about saying finding passion, something, and also we're talking about content creation, but just I know everyone here is not a content creator. Everyone here has something going on with them, like a business or whatever. So this content creation that we're talking about, think of it like as a business. You can't put something out there if you don't have passion in what you're doing. I post maybe like 2 times or 3 times a month, and people be like, oh, I post a lot. That's not even good, because you can't really post 3 times a month. You have to like post everything. So you have to put yourself out there. You have to put your business, you have to do everything, but you can't really do that if you don't like what you're doing. So sometimes I'll put a video, it won't do well, and I will be discouraged, and I'm like, oh, I'm not going to put another video. You can't do that. And also my brother mentioned something to me about even talking about the big platform. You don't also need a lot of gadgets. You don't need you don't need the most expensive thing. If you have a phone, you're good. Whatever business you have, if you have something that can put yourself out there, you do that, because You just need one viral video. You just need one viral strategy, one viral marketing procedure, and you're going to put yourself out there. And also, in everything you do, the main focus is always to keep God the center of your life. Keep God at the center of your life. And also being authentic. About my content, he said something about Zediwo. You can't, it's not easy to like copy other people's content, copy other people's business. The one thing you can't, like no one can copy is, you can't copy being another person. You have to be yourself. You have to be authentic. You have to know what you're doing. Like I said, in my years of making content, I started with skit making. I started with like talking about relatable stuff, like just talking in general, whatever comes to my head, I just talk about it. And now what I do right now is fashion. I want to be a stylist because I like dressing up and I like dressing other people. And in my fashion, I can incorporate like my skit making or just me being myself, because I love being around people. I love being in gatherings like this. I'm a social person. But one thing I've noticed is that I'm not myself. Like the videos I just make videos about my clothes. Like I don't really show people who I am, and that's being authentic. That's like you commanding like your whole arena. So yeah, just know that like in any business you're doing, keep God at the center of your life. Be yourself. You don't need to fake it till you make it. Like knowing that you know who is real or fake, and most importantly, also like have a passion in what you do. You can't put your stuff out there if you don't like doing it. Like it's mentally challenging. You're just going to mentally drain yourself. Thank you.
And I think it goes even, I like what you're saying, I think it goes more than just the content. This is outside of content as well. Like you being yourself, you being authentic, you could be, and let's bring this back to God, you could be the only experience that someone experiences God in their life. Like you could be planting seeds in somebody that you might never ever see again. So just by walking by, just by smiling, just by, I've been trying to throw God in just random sentences. Somebody gives my food, like, how's your day going? I'll be like, man, God is good. Just like, just hearing about God, because then you could see God's light shining through you. So just the opportunity to plant these seeds in people, to grow the kingdom of God, to grow the kingdom that Jesus came and that Jesus died on the cross for us, like to spread that word of God, because you don't need to have a platform. You don't need to use social media. You could just be it authentically. I'm assuming many of us in here are Christians, and if you're not, spread your faith. Like, if that's something you're passionate about, spread that. I feel like, in all honesty, it can get hard in the world that we're in, just to stay focused, especially if God at our center. So I think we're called to put on, the armor of God, like it says in Ephesians 6, and just to hold ourselves to a higher caliber, just because if others mistreat us, it's our job to bless them. It's our job to endure it and wish them the best, because that's what we do as Christians. So, yeah.
Thank you for that, man. I have a question for you. What is one piece of advice you would give to a student trying to find their voice, confidence or community on campus?
Finding your voice is attached to knowing who you are and whose you are. And I'm biased because I serve God. And once I came to the conclusion that I am a daughter of the King, everything else flowed from that. And he gives me authority to be in every single space I find myself in. In terms of finding your confidence, you can't muster that up on your own long enough that it sustains you throughout your entire life. You have to get your strength from something else, and for me, that's God. I'm constantly asking him to give me the peace that surpasses all understanding, and just the insight and the wisdom and the discernment to walk into spaces that he's allowed me to be in, and I'm allowed to be in those spaces. So I think just reminding yourself that you are where you're supposed to be, and you are doing the things that you're supposed to be doing, and your confidence comes from your identity, and your identity comes from knowing whose you are, and that's Christ. So, yeah.
Okay. That's very good. Thank you. Any questions? Okay. Thank you.
Hi everyone, my name is Dallas Doss. I am a freshman political science major from Atlanta, Georgia, by way of Jacksonville, Florida, and I attend Howard University. And the question that I have for you guys is, what challenge have you faced in your life where you feel like maybe you could say your faith, or maybe what you are focusing on, you feel like you got distracted, and what helped you get back on track with it?
I can answer it only because it's fresh. Currently, I have been trying to take steps towards God again after being hit with lots of hard things. Life was lifing. The only thing that helped me was remembering the things that God has already done in my past. And like, I can look at other people and see what God is doing for them, but if I think back on the things that he's personally done for me and the favor that he has shown me and the grace and the love, it almost motivates me to go back to my roots and to understand that I can't go through anything or escape anything without the strength that he gives me. So yeah, I would just say, remind yourself of the things that God has done for you. Even writing it down and like rereading it to yourself, like, oh God, you actually were moving severely in that season, and it didn't feel like it when I was in the midst of it. But now that I'm outside looking back, it's like you were so heavily in the midst of it all, and I was just blind to it. So yeah, just continuously write down the things that God is doing for you and remind yourself of that when you find yourself struggling to combat things going on in your life. So
for me personally, I was trying to find joy in other things that weren't God. So my first semester, man, I was having a ball. Boy, I was outside every single weekend, every single week. I didn't miss one. I don't think I missed one. Yeah, but I was just outside, right? And I was trying to find it. I was trying to find my happiness as joy in parties, right? I was trying to find it in just meeting new people. And in all honesty, like, I woke up the next day craving the same thing. I wanted to just go back out again. So I realized that that couldn't have been satisfaction. Like, it must have just been temporary, right? Like, that couldn't have actually satisfied me. It must have just, like, sustained me for a little bit. So I realized I always felt in my heart that I was missing something. And it wasn't until I saw other people who I'd grown up with living their life for God that made me realize, okay, if they could do it, why can't I do it? And if I've been so happy, bro. Just I've been trying to stay. I just been so happy, bro. God is gonna work through you guys. If you ask for a sign, I promise y'all He's gonna show it to you. I promise He's gonna show Himself to you guys. And it's gonna be bigger and greater than anything you could have ever imagined.
For the question, it's the same thing we've been reiterating. Like I said, something that like, I get discouraged easily when I'm putting myself out there and I'm not getting the results I want. The result isn't bad, but like, I just have like a high standard, and a lot of people are like that. They have a standard of themselves being like this, and they're even just like this, but they want to be like this, and you get discouraged. But at the same time, what you have to do, always keep your faith strong and put God at the center of your life. Like, if you're discouraged, God. If you're sad, God. If you're angry, God. Like, whatever you do, you always know that God is always going to be there for you, and you talk to Him. And yeah, that concludes the end of this panel. Thank you for having us, and have a great day.
Thank you so much for those encouraging words. Were you guys touched?
We were.
Another round of applause for our wonderful panelists. Woo! I really love that everyone focused on God, and they didn't just talk about, oh, I'm a leader this, I'm a leader that. No, they talked about real life struggles. That just makes them human. Leaders are human. And my favorite point that was touched on by, I believe it was Jasmine, she spoke about humility, humbling ourselves before the people you're leading, and surrendering fully to God. And that is a point that a lot of leaders, especially in our day and age right now, they need to know. You need to be humble because it's an honor to serve the people around you. Am I right? Okay. And always know that you can work with what you have. One of the guys mentioned, he said, start with whatever you have right now. You don't need a million followers, a million subscribers. You don't need the best ring light, nothing. You need what you have right now. And one thing about God, he gives you what you need because he's our good shepherd. And I have a question for you. What type of leader do you believe you're called to be? Show of hands. Okay, I'm gonna give.
I believe, oh wait, let me introduce myself. Hello everyone, I'm Michaela Hicks. I'm a freshman political science major that attends Howard University on the pre-law track. As a leader, I think it's my job to probably connect with people and I want to prevent people from slipping through the cracks and acknowledging maybe some issues that maybe not a lot of people talk about. I feel like, at least, I say this a lot if you talk to me, like putting your best foot forward is the best step you can do to change.
I love that.
Just like saying that first word or just, at least trying, that shows that you are passionate and you are basically upholding your own beliefs.
I love that. Thank you so much, Michaela. Woo! Round of applause. Clap for her now. Yes.
Hi, my name's Osa. I'm a freshman at American University. My major's poli-sci and PR. And I think a leader that I'm called to be is one that never lets hard times shake them.
Ooh.
I know me personally, fall semester was very rough, but I think, and a lot of people have said this to me recently, a lot of times they've kind of admired how I still kept going because they're looking at me and they'd be like, Osa, I don't know how you managed to get through all of that and all that you've been through. And I think it was just going back to kind of just the conversation with God. I think especially when you feel like you've hit rock bottom, I feel like I always tell my friends this, God will let you drown, but he'll never let you sink. I think he'll always let you, he'll always come and humble you, but he's never going to let you get to the point where you feel that you can't turn to him anymore, because you can always turn to him. So
yeah. Woo! I love that. Can we give a round of applause for them? That was beautiful. So for the sake of time, I'm just going to leave you guys with these two questions. What is your drive and intention about being a leader? What is your main reason or goal for you being a leader? And the second question is, you can answer this on your personal time. The second question is, how do hard times affect you in your life? And how do you come back from those hard times? Just think on that. Think on that. Thank you so much to our wonderful panelists. Thank you to the ladies who answered. And right now, I'm going to introduce the next keynote speaker, a renowned financial business guru at M&T Bank. Please help me energetically welcome Richard Ojuri. Woo! Clap, make some noise. Louder, louder.
Richard Ojuri is a Vice President and Business Banking Relationship Manager at M&T Bank, where he works with businesses across the DMV region to help them grow, scale, and navigate today's complex financial landscape. With over 5 years of experience in banking and finance, Richard partners closely with entrepreneurs and business leaders, providing strategic financial solutions, access to capital, and guidance that supports long-term success. Beyond the banking world, Richard is also deeply committed to community impact. He currently serves as chair on 2 nonprofit boards focused on strengthening local businesses and expanding economic opportunity.
Cool, is that it? All right, cool. Damn, that's overly serious for me a little bit. I have to look and see who they were talking about for a second. But I appreciate you guys for being here. They said I have 10 minutes. That is, whew. I said, I don't know if I could talk for 10 minutes. It's my first time ever having to print out paper to see what I'm going to speak about. But again, kudos for you guys for being here, especially on a Saturday. It's in D.C. I'm assuming many of you guys go to school here in the DMV. It's a good day. I think it's our first really good time having good weather out. You guys could be outside. So I appreciate you guys for being here, right? So I'm going to give a quote-unquote keynote speech on building financial confidence and leadership for the next generation. But it's funny because I feel like I'm a part of you guys' generation too. I really only graduated in 2021, right? But we thank God for how fast I elevated through the corporate world. And huge shout out again to the I like huge kudos to them, because when I was in college, I always grew up a Christian. I have uncles that were pastors and stuff like that, but I was a little bit rebellious. I'm Nigerian. It was overly strict in my house. I have to wake up every day, no matter how late I was, at 6 a.m. to go to church. And if you go to an African church, you know how that can be. If you get in trouble, the first person they're telling is an African pastor. Then the pastor's trying to lecture you guys. So again, I've been where you guys are at, and you guys, the more yet to come. But to go off in the speech, so first, thank you guys for having me. It's a privilege to be in the room full of future leaders, decision makers, and whether you realize it or not, future power brokers of the global economy. When you guys were mentioning some of you guys' interests, it doesn't hit me that you guys are going to be major people when you guys graduate. Going to the luxury university that you guys are going to, Howard, I heard University of Maryland. I'm assuming all DMV schools, so Towson, Georgetown University, all amazing schools that hold great weight in the corporate world. But let me start off with something simple, right? Everyone here spoke about how they all been, part of the world, or they faced different scenarios. Let me start with something simple by saying the world doesn't just reward potential, it rewards execution. And part of that is you guys being here on a Saturday when it's 60 degrees outside. So give yourself a round of applause again for being here. And the gap between the two, right? That's where financial confidence and leadership comes in. So when you're early in your career, there's pressure to get it right. I mean, as I look in the crowd, as a fellow African, I can tell when I see other Africans. And even if you're not African, just being in the room, I can see, oh, it's my guy, what's up, man? And even just being in the room, right? Parents give you guys the hard pressure of picking the right major. Going to college, they're paying for it. You must become a doctor, engineer, lawyer, one of the two things, right? Or one of the three things. And you kind of get hit with that struggle that, hey, if I don't become one of those three things, you guys are getting lectures every day. Make sure you're doing this right, right? And as you guys know, it's hard to get jobs now, internships now. Parents are getting on you guys every day. Do you have an internship? Do you have a career that you guys are going to after you graduate? I want you guys to know, just settle and be okay, breathe. You guys are going to be good. So there's pressure to pick the right company, pick the right job, the perfect path. But let me give you a different scenario to put in your head. There's no perfect path, only strategic positioning. For your first job, it's not your final destination. Although, since I graduated in 2021, I've only been at M&T Bank through the grace of God. Because I'll tell you, when I first got to M&T, they wanted to fire me, funny enough. I got there during COVID. So I was in my cohort, we were on like 6 to 9 hour long WebEx or Zoom meetings or what you call it. And sometimes I would just look down and, I was on my phone, to be transparent. And the person at the time, I'm in finance, and just to be transparent, there's not a lot of people that look like us in finance. So when I'm on the WebEx or Zoom or whatever you call it, whatever platform you use, she took a screenshot of my box and sent it to my manager and sent it to my regional, saying that they don't know if I'm fit for the program, fit for the company, or want to be here at M&T Bank, just to be extremely transparent. And one thing they don't know about me, I'm Nigerian, so when people tell me I can't do something, that motivates me 10 times more. So when they wanted to let go of me, I actually didn't want to be in banking. I wanted to be a consultant. But just because she doubted me, that made me love finance even more, and I wanted to prove to her that she done met her match when she saw me, right? So being in there, I leveled up through the program, and it's funny enough, now she retired, but she emailed me before she retired and just said how I definitely changed her mind about me. And that's really my goal in moving through life. I'm at the most formal banker. You're never going to really see me suited and booted unless I have to. I'm going to come as people are. And that's the goal in it. Come as people are and talk to them and change their lives, right? So, as I said, your first job isn't going to be your final destination. It's your training ground. You should be asking, what skills am I building? Who am I learning from? Am I getting right exposure to real decision making? So, perfect. I got 5 minutes. That's perfect. So, as you guys are trying to navigate through the corporate world, by the show of hands, does anyone want to be executives here? Anyone want to just own their own business? Show of hands. All right, cool. So let's go about this. So being in business isn't about the name, isn't about the title at all. Proximity is power. How close you are to the real action is what true power is, right? Get close to revenue, get close to clients, get close to decision making. So in my role here at M&T Bank, I'm tasked with bringing on new clients and maintaining my current portfolio. What that means is I'm in charge of businesses doing $3 million to $100 million, and I'm tasked with gaining more businesses in their revenue and helping them grow their portfolio within the bank. And the reason why I was able to get there at a quick trajectory is because when I was as an associate, I helped out many of our senior bankers with their deals, right? As I said before, I was close to revenue, I was close to clients, and I was really involved with decision making. So let's talk about what separates leaders from everyone else. And really, if you want to excel, you really need to understand money. Not just earning it, because as you guys know, once we're in DC, we're in the DMV, you guys are going to earn more than a lot of people outside of the country. But everybody can earn money. But as we guys know, NFL players, professional athletes, they all go broke after losing the money. So it's not about earning money. It's about managing it, multiplying it, and deploying it strategically. Financial literacy shouldn't just be an option, it's a leadership skill. Because every major decision, whether it's business, government, life, comes down to capital. How you run your business, the budgeting of your businesses, that all get looked at from the top. And here's what most people miss. Money doesn't move people, because what moves people are real relationships. You could be the smartest person in the room, but if no one likes you, it doesn't matter how smart you are. You need to get people in order to make deals. So in banking, I've seen this firsthand happen. As I said before, relationships matter. So deals don't just happen on a spreadsheet. They happen because you win trust. And winning trust means coming as you are, being the real you. Don't know if I should be saying this, but I'm a real cigar guy. I'm a cigar guy. So I take my clients out to cigars a lot. So smoke a cigar, you probably need at least an hour or two to really smoke a cigar. And even golf as well. So you're playing golf, you're on a course for 4 or 5 hours. And with that, you can really know somebody. So if you're faking it, they can read through you pretty quickly. So, and also, if you want to win, you got to build relationships before you need them, deliver value consistently, protect your reputation at all costs, because in business, your name is your business. It's your currency. So as I speed through this, if you are serious about getting into business, finance, entrepreneurship, here's what I'll focus on immediately. 1, learn how businesses actually make money, not theory, real revenue models, margin, cash flow. I give businesses money based upon how they can cash flow. That's key in my world. Get comfortable with talking to people. So I'm not really more of a person that just talks. I'm more of a Q&A person. I'd rather sit on the panel, have people ask me questions, and I can answer it. So this is a real new thing for me, kind of. Right? Get comfortable with talking to people, clients, strangers. So I don't know, wherever you guys are sitting next to you, just reach over and say hi to them really quickly. Haha, look at that. Creating magic in the room, right? Study the game, right? Read financial news, understand markets. You know, the Washington Post is a good one to read. Just understand what's going on in the world. Because a lot of times you can create a conversation, right? With like just multi stuff going on with the war going on. There's different things going on with gas prices going up. Just being able to speak at a high level. Know what's happening in the economy and why, and add your value. Don't wait for a title to contribute. So just my title says I'm VP, whatever. I don't really care, to be honest with you. Pay me more money is what I care about, right? You guys can keep the title. I want the money, right? Because the truth is, opportunities don't go to the most qualified. They go to the most visible and valuable. As you guys navigate through the corporate world, you see a lot of people that you're better than, but you're not the one getting promoted. The other person getting promoted is because of who they know. So speak to everybody, right? Now let's talk about leadership. Everyone wants to influence. We just had a panel about people who have, I don't know, thousands of followers on Instagram, right? But influence is earned. It's not built. The 3 things is credibility, resilience, and influence, right? Credibility. Do you do what you say you're going to do? Resilience. You will face setbacks. Deals are going to fall through. You're going to get hit with setbacks. Keep going. Influence isn't about title. It's about impact. Cool. And as I round out, let me leave you with this. You're entering one of the most competitive, fast-moving economies in the history. Here's the opportunity. If you combine financial literacy, strong relationships, and disciplined executions, you will win. Thank you, guys. Questions?
what was the road upwards like from your associate position to rising up to vice president?
The role was pretty cool. So I mean, at first, to be transparent with you, the reason why I got into my role is kind of like what I said earlier. I had a mentor that was an executive at the bank, and I wanted to pivot into commercial banking. But to be honest with you, people my age don't really go into commercial banking at this age yet. So the role was a lot of networking, talking to people who I don't know, and sometimes who I don't care to speak to. But sometimes you just got to talk to, shake a hand, just talk about life with them. And a lot of times with my clients, I was talking about, help me out, which I didn't know what I was doing, was I was talking about life instead of business. I was talking about what I had going on. One of my tricks that I tell all my clients is my parents are on me about getting married. They want me to find a girlfriend. They want to have kids. They want me to have kids, want to be a grandma. All my clients laugh at that, to the point where my clients text me probably once a week trying to set up a blind date for me, right? But the reason why they like that is because I'm just somebody coming to them as a real person. Coming to them with somebody thing I'm going through, they can relate, and they laugh. And then because I'm young, they see me as a younger person that they can mentor. So they just soak the information in me. So I'll say it's thinking outside the box, not being very stereotypical, and just be you. The role was long hours, so I worked 80 to 100 hours this past week. But that's just because of deals, MSLs, right? So I need to make sure I'm closing my deals, putting in deals, so I can make more money.
Thank you for the opportunity and thank you for the presentation. My question is, as a student, how do I live debt free? Because that's like a major concern that I have.
Nah, that's a very good one. A lot of my clients, if you're coming to me, you're not debt free. But the goal is to live below your means, to be transparent with you, right? Everyone I speak to is saying being content with where you're at is key. A lot of times when someone gets a new increase, they want to splurge and do something else, right? Being content with where you're at, having a budget, letting that budget be live for you is key, right? So if you're out of your budget, just know you have to subtract that from the next budget you make from the other one. Speak to your budget every day, see your budget every day, check your accounts every day. A lot of people don't, right? Whenever I go on vacation, I'm guilty for not checking my account, because if I check my account, I may stop the vacation and go home early. So always be inside yourself, have a budget, and know your goals. That's key. Live below your means. It's the best thing I can tell you.
You spoke about speaking to my budget every day. Can you give me like an example of how to do that? Like,
Yeah, so a living budget, right? If your budget should change every time you make a transaction. So again, I'm not the best math guy, so let's keep things, I know I'm in banking, but still. Let's keep things simple. $10 is your budget. You go to the gas station, you buy a piece of gum, that's $1 or $2 deducted from your budget. You should be distracting that from your budget. Because a lot of times, we sometimes forget you bought a pack of gum and then you're doing other things, and now what you forgot is, how am I over my budget? You just missed 3 things that you went to go transact. So if you have a living budget, you can edit it as you're making your purchases or transactions. So that's key. Looking at it every day, editing it every day, after every transaction, balancing it out, you have to do that. Any more questions? My guy.
Good to see you, man. Question is especially for businesses, right? Because I know you said you handle a portfolio of companies between 3 and 100 million, right? If you're a business starting out, obviously you're not making 3 million like off the bat, right? How do you get into these rooms where banks like yours would even consider working with these businesses? Like, it's obviously not a straight line, but like, what's like the best way to move forward with that?
100%. This is a great question, because even though I just said that, right, that's where my company will like me to focus on. But I have associates that ask me questions about startups that have that. So I do work with startups as well. And what I'll say is, what's key is being in the room, just like you said. And where you can get that is Chamber of Commerce. So I'm on a board for Anne Arundel County Chamber of Commerce. So going to whatever county your business operates in, being a part of that chamber, because 9 times out of 10, there's a banker on that board, or there's bankers coming to those events trying to get new business, right? I go to a lot of our chamber events to get new business, to see business owners. So you just being in that room is key. And then also, I get a little frustrated sometimes when people listen to some of these people on social media. And again, I know I'm at a social media conference, so no offense, but there's like levels to this, right? So like, people sometimes will turn on a light, make it dim, put on the suit, act like they're an expert. Listen, go to a bank. It's free. Sit up, go there, talk to somebody, tell them what you want to do, and they'll give you resources. The SBA is another resource, right? So the SBA will have SBDC, Small Business Development Corporation, and they have different resources that you could use also, and they have relationships with us, right? Last thing I'll leave is SCORE. The SBA has an organization called SCORE, whereas as retired executives now work for SCORE to mentor startup businesses and help them get them to where they need to be. So that's a huge resource and it's free. All you gotta do is fill out an application. How much time I got left? All right, any one question? I'm gonna speed through one if there is one. 40 seconds left. No? Cool. I appreciate you guys.
Hi everyone. Good evening. Have we been having a great time so far? You sure? Do we want to dance a little bit? No? Just kidding. All right, so my name is Noella, and I'm going to be introducing myself properly tonight. If we can have that presentation up. Great. So I am Capital City, and we were earlier introduced to Capital City, or a lot of people have come up and spoken about Capital City in one way or the other. So this is like a way to properly introduce to you who we are and what we do. So about us. So BRW Capital City is a vibrant community of young believers passionate about impacting the world for Christ. And in so many of the in the voices of so many of our speakers, I've heard them talk about Christ in almost everything that they said. So this is who we are. We are a representation of Christ. We describe ourselves as a church where faith meets action, where the word of God isn't just heard but lived out daily. That's the beauty of Capital City. And my life is a testimony of what Capital City has done, right from when I joined to where I am right now. Before I joined Capital City, I was what people would say a sister, but now I'm a pastor. To me, that's a huge achievement, because it shows, it's a testament of what God has done in my life and what He has transformed me into. So we have our mission right here. We are passionate about raising young believers. A lot of you should have seen this young man walking around and, helping. Through dynamic worship, practical teaching, and genuine fellowship, we create an environment where faith comes alive. So our objective, if you can kindly look through all of these objectives, I'm sure that one of you would fall in either of these categories. Either you want mentorship, you want a community that's going to foster safe, vibrant, and purpose-driven student community. You want to celebrate, you want us to celebrate you. Some people feel very, very lonely and need community of friends that they can connect to, especially when they come to school. I've had so many stories of young people who come to campus. They're probably students and Christians, but when they come to campus, it's like they lose their values. It's like no one is telling you to go to church. So because mommy and dad are not around, you don't feel like going to church. No one is encouraging you. There's that time when you feel like you want to hear that person tell you, faith-filled words, but the ones around you can't really, give you those words or tell you those things. So Capital City is that person to you. So we are that answer that God has brought to you today, not only for Howard, but all the other campuses around the DC area and beyond, because we are not just Capital City for DC or Howard, we are Capital City for the entire world. So how to get involved now? When you become part of Capital City, And just so you know, it's free. I'm just kidding. How to get involved? There are different departments that you get to join when you get into Capital City. Now, all of what you see here, the organization, the planning, this was all done by Capital City members. So you get involved, whatever it is that your passion is. And even if you feel like you don't have anything that you live for, by the time you become a Capital City member, something will be produced out of you. Before you know it, you will discover purpose. That's one thing about me that I keep saying all the time. I remember when I started campus, I just genuinely loved the Lord. Have you ever been in that space where you just love God, but you actually don't know what your purpose is? There's one thing about loving the Lord, and there's another thing about living out your purpose. And someone met me on campus and just casually invited me to a program, and I attended. And that's when I gave my life to Christ, and I started my journey, and I've never been the same. I have not only lived out my purpose, but I've actually helped other people discover their purpose. So if you are in the space where I heard one of the speakers say here, she was talking about how she's trying to get back on track in her relationship with God. We are your answer. And one of the things I would like to tell you is that you can serve God in any space where you find yourself, any place that you find yourself. God's beauty is in you. You just need to give God the opportunity to, expose you to his love. And that is done through all of these platforms. We have the media team, we have music and arts. If you can sing, or maybe you can't sing, we'll teach you. We have Technovators, we have the ushering department, we have all of these beautiful departments where you can serve. And I'll tell you that I became a leader. Pastor Kwame is a leader today. Her leadership started in church. Most of us here, our leadership skills were built in church. And if you want to look at the lives of most of those that are singing out there and probably enjoying their songs, you will discover that they all started in church. God puts in us unique, I don't want to call it talent, but he gives us unique strength for the world to see us and see him through us. But you need to actually discover what that is and actually, live it out. So what Capital City does is that we help you discover what that purpose is and actually help you live it out to the fullest. So we have different community services or different communities that we work with. So one of them is the Inner City Mission. And this particular initiative is one that's very dear to me. So it says the Inner City Mission for Children is a global humanitarian initiative committed to transforming the lives of vulnerable children and families. I have come to encounter many, many children around the world who probably don't have the kind of life that I have today. And for most of us here, the fact that you're going to school is a huge privilege. And I hope that we recognize that. But did you know that some other children all around the world, if someone doesn't think about them, they don't get to feed, they get to go to school. But sometimes we get to take these things for granted. And Inner City Mission is that organization that's making sure that these children who probably don't have parents or caregivers get the opportunity to get the things that we do have, maybe not to the same capacity, but at least to a point where they are able to, move on or keep life going. So we have students with a difference. SWAT is a unique platform where students get empowered to do so many things in their world. There's the empowering the next generation of leaders through mentorship, academic support, and real-world preparation. Now, for most of the young people who want to come to the universities or college, they're probably asking themselves a lot of questions. And did you know that some of them don't even get to, they have the zeal to do it, but before they get to that level of college, they drop out. That's because they don't have enough information, or they're probably struggling with a lot of things, maybe from home or from their environment. But what SWAT comes to do is to make sure that these children get to, get to their end goal, which is to get to college and actually graduate. So we introduce them to programs that help to keep fueling their passion as to where their destination is. So that's what SWAT stands for. And we also have a short video we're gonna play out, and then I'm gonna round off with a last word on what I want us to do as far as the inner city is concerned. Thank you, Tek.
The only thing standing between me may just be a school bag. Help provide scholastic kids today. Every child deserves a chance to learn to grow, to take a stand, to dream of future shining bright. But without scholastic kids, they lose that light. 20 SBs you can't give.
Just 9, Gina's classroom was the street. Her lessons survived. Every day she hawked ground nuts, not with pencils or notebooks, but just so her family. While some children complained about early morning alarms, hers was the cry of hunger. While others carried school bags, Gina carried a tray heavier than her years. Some days Gina returned with nothing and went to bed with nothing. Hunger was her only companion. Home was not always a place of comfort, but of fear and pain. She became skilled at surviving life's blows. One night, danger close. 3 men, 1 child, 1 desperate slave. Gina ran for her life, leaving behind her tray, her purse, everything. It wasn't chance, it was sheer will to live. Another day, to make some money for food at home, someone gives her a flyer about the school enrollments by inner-city mission officials of the community. Quickly, she hurries to the community square where several other children are on queue to receive school kits. Yes, the inner city mission stepped in. A chance at school, a uniform, books, and food. Every single day. From escaping kidnappers to embracing science questions, her story changed. From hunger to hope. From the street to a fully sponsored education in school. And with each meal, each lesson, each smile, she moved further away from fear and closer to a future. The kind of change every parent dreams for their child. This back-to-school season, you can write a new story. Sponsor a child today and give the gift of the future. And you give yourself the joy of knowing you changed her life. To gift education to one child is 100 SBs. Or to sponsor school kits for a child, it's 20 SBs. For more information, reach out to us on Close Chat at Inner City HQ or log on to icm.ngo/back-to-school.
Amazing. Quick question. How many of us here pray to God?
at least once a week or every day?
I love this. That's so heartwarming.
How many of us have prayer requests when we pray? Like we're telling God the things we want. I mean, maybe not every day, but right. Everyone, great. Now, do we know, wait, before I get there, how many of us believe that when we pray, God answers us? Or we want God to answer us when we pray? That thing you need so much. Okay, great. Now, how many of us know that God also has prayer points? Who has ever heard that before? You're praying to God to give you something or answer your prayer. Do you also know that God has prayers that he's praying and he wants answers to those prayers? Sounds weird, right? How can God, who has everything, be praying and he requires answers, right? Now, do you know that the reason you've been placed here on earth is because you're an answer to God? Who knows that? Nobody? You don't think you're an answer to God? Who knows that they're an answer to God? Just being alive, you're an answer to God. Now, the reason I'm saying that is because there's just so much that's going on in the world today, and God has prayer points. He has things that he wants done, and no one out of the blues is about to do it. So it's us that God has brought into the picture to be answers to his prayers, and that's why you're here today. Now, I probably didn't grow up like that little girl or so many other children around the world the way they've grown up. Maybe you've never known, and you will never know what it means to wake up and you don't know what your future looks like, you know. But to so many people, they wake up to one and the same routine every day. And I'm sure that call to 100 SPs. Now, SPs is a currency you may not know about, but we'll tell you more about that later. So the call for today is for us to be an answer to God's call. And I'm ready to be an answer to God's call today. I'm sure that many of us are probably in school or some kind of job or do a lot of things that wake us up in the morning every day excited. Now, that's not the story of a lot of children all around the world. And a simple call to you today is to join us to, sponsor by giving $100. That will go a long, long way to send someone to school. Now, what Inner City does is we build schools that are 100% tuition free. And not only that, we provide school provisions, and every single day, these children are given 2 free meals a day in those schools. So everything is for free. And just imagine one day you get to heaven and God is telling you, whose name can I use? My name is Noella. What's your name, sweetheart? Yes. Michaela? God is telling you, thank you, Michaela, that you fed thousands of children all around the world. You know how the scriptures say that when I was hungry, you gave me to eat, right? It's not the obvious one of, oh, your friend is telling you, oh, I'm so hungry right now, I want to eat food. No, there are different scenarios. So this is like that call today to kindly give towards the cause of sending children to school, sending them to school tuition free, sending them to a school that will give them at least 2 meals a day throughout the entire year and the years to come. So these are the given, the various giving platforms. You can give through Zelle, you can give King's Chat. You probably will not know much about that, but we have Cash App as well. And if you're here and you're like, I'm not sure that I was ready for this, but I can give later, we also have something prepared for you. You can go, oh, I like that. Look at the red phone, girl. Thank you so much. So you can go ahead and actually take a picture. If you weren't planning to give today, but you're thinking, oh, I can give something later, please take a picture. And whatever it is that you give, you might not know the name of the child that you're sponsoring, but truly God will tell you that name or those names when you get to, oh, if I'm blocking you, please let me know. I see a lot of phones going off. I like that. So please take a picture and let us know. And we'll also have a QR code that's coming up right now if they are ready. Lastly, if you're here and you say, oh, I can give $100, and you're here with a precious friend of yours, and you guys can, both give $50 each, please hold your friend. Who came with a friend? You came with your friend. Are you guys, okay, great. So two of you can, partner to give $100, right? $50 each, is that correct? Right? And it doesn't have to be today. You can make a pledge, that's what I'm saying. You can make a pledge to give later. So I want us to pair ourselves into twos. And if you don't know anybody, we'll make friends today. So who wants to do that? Okay, you can pair yourselves into twos. And if you can give today or give later, that works as well. So is the QR code ready? That's going to be the last thing so they can scan, and then we're going to go into the next thing. Okay, it's not ready. So please take a picture. Let us know when you want to give, and then we're going to call you back. And when you give, we're going to have a special surprise for you. And thank you all so much for listening. And I pray that all those children that you're going to be sponsoring, the Lord will reward you bountifully. Thank you.
Okay, thank you guys so much for listening to the speeches, keynote speakers, and panelists and things of that things of that nature. I'm sorry, so we're gonna take a break. I'm sorry. I'm in a very giggly mood right now. But words are coming out. Woo! We're going to take a break right now for 15 minutes. I can't. So y'all can get refreshments. Thanks. I can't think.
Who's making you laugh?
Hello. Good evening, everyone. Again, there are refreshments in the back. If you would like croissants or cookies or juice, anything in that sort, you can get that in the back. Again, this is a 15-minute break, and then we will resume. What were you laughing at? So much.
Hi, everyone. Hi, everyone. Hello. Did we have a good refreshment period? Okay, so just grab your last few refreshments, drinks, bags, whatever it is. Have a seat. Thank you very much. Hello. Everyone in the back. I'm waiting. Please kindly make your way up to your seats. We have our next presenter up. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Everyone all the way in the back, please have a seat. Thank you so much. I hope everyone is enjoying themselves so far and learning something. Are we learning something? Can we get a good round of applause? Look alive, act alive. Thank you, thank you. I'm waiting for the last few people. We have just a few more minutes left. Thank you. Can we please get the rest of the people in the back next to the table? Thank you so much for your patience, everyone. Thank you. So as we settle down, I'm going to introduce the next speaker. I believe her name is Imani. Can we give a big round of applause for the beautiful lady? Look at her gorgeous hair. And we're matching. Yes, I love it. Another round of applause. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Yes. Here you go.
Good evening, everyone. How's everyone doing? Okay, my name's Imani. I'm the founder and creator of HU Glow. I don't know, how many people came here through HU Glow or heard about this through HU Glow? Okay, good, good, good. So HU Glow is, I don't know if my board is gonna come up, but HU Glow was created my freshman year, and it started with mentoring the freshmen here. I thought when I came here, a lot of things were a little bit under the books. I didn't really know what was happening. I didn't know what was going on with the staff, and that I felt like I didn't have a community. So myself, along with Audrey Hunter, who is the co-founder, we created HU Glow. Yes, this is Elizabeth. She's our scholarship executive. We have Yvonne, who helps with the clubs and orgs here. And we have Mariah, who helps with internships. And we have Nyla, who is a transfer student here, who helps with the transfer students here at Howard University. And our mission was just to help those students who felt like they didn't belong here at Howard and to create community with them. So we were able, if you guys can go to the next slide. Next slide. Next slide. Next slide. Sorry. Next slide. So we were able to help around 20 students get scholarships and internships last semester, as well as this semester. We have around 400 mentors, over 400 mentors, and over 400 mentees. And we help mentor students in New York, Chicago, and at Howard University. We have tackled Arlington High School, Knowbrook High School, and we're looking to do many more. But HU Glow was created just to create mentorship for the youth and a community for the youth and help guide everyone into scholarships, mentorship, and clubs, and just be the best that they can be. Thank you.
Can we give another round of applause? Isn't that beautiful? helping people worldwide. Okay, so the next event or the next activity is going to be the youth panel. So welcome them. Keep clapping as they're coming. Thank you. Don't they look lovely? They coordinated. I love it.
All right, good evening, everybody. Good evening. My name is Charity Edney. I'm a junior architecture major from St. Louis, Missouri, and I will be your moderator for this panel this evening. Welcome, welcome, everyone. A little bit about me before we get started. I serve currently as Miss College of Engineering and Architecture at Howard University. So I've been having the opportunity this year to really give back to my school as a whole, being a mentor, being a leader, being able to host events that really give back to the community. So I'm so excited to be here. Thank you guys for coming. We are going to start off by asking you all, who are you, what do you do, and what drives your work or your platform, just to get to know you all and then share with the audience as well. Yeah, either one, yeah. We'll go down the line.
Hello. My name is Godwin, and a little background about myself. I am a graduate from the University of Maryland, College Park, with TERPS, computer science, and currently in the professional field, I'm a software engineer at Home Depot, and I do content creation. The main niche is lifestyle, humor, and soccer. And so my main goal is to inspire young talents, young soccer players. My main goal is to inspire young soccer players that your faith is something that you live out every day, and it shouldn't be something that you hide or anything behind closed doors. That is something that's practical in nature in your real day life. And so that's my main aim, is to inspire young soccer players.
Thank you. All right.
My name is Tavon. I'm a graduate student from the University of Maryland as well. I got my bachelor's and my master's there. I'm currently doing program and outreach as a leader in Howard County, and I also do strategic media marketing for companies and personal brands with the Lighthouse Agency, as well as a content manager. And I'm currently leading or co-leading a community called Beyond Sunday, where we are driving and really intending to, bring people closer to Christ, but to simply just build a community where we can live life together as Christians, putting God first every single day that we wake up and every single day that we go to bed.
Welcome.
Hi everyone, I'm Praise Asalu. I am a Nigerian American, born in Jersey originally, so I'm new to this whole DMV. You feel me? Originally I started with just I said I'm a content creator, creative in all standpoints for about 4 to 5 years now. I've been modeling and also went into the full swing of like creating content for brands and companies and stuff like that, and was full time in that. And now I'm blessed to say I'm a content director at Union Church as well. So yeah, that's awesome. And yeah.
Okay, hi everyone. First of all, thank you for waiting for me. Was operating on African time, so thank you all for being patient. My name is Tatenda Jimbo. I was born and raised in Zimbabwe, and then I came to the United States in 2017 to pursue my graduate degree and also my bachelor's degree at the University of Oklahoma. I'm thoroughly passionate about global politics. I am your go-to girl for policy, politics, all that jazz. So I'm currently working as an asset management associate at the Housing Assistance Council, but that's my 9 to 5. My 5 to 9 is all things policy and all things politics. So I call myself a youth diplomat, and I'm excited to be here today. Thank you.
Thank you all so much for being here. We talked earlier about being student leaders, and so this is an opportunity to hear from student leaders that transferred into the professional world and what that looks like incorporating your faith into the professional environment. So we're going to start doing some directed questions. So I'm going to start with you, Godwin. You use humor and lifestyle to communicate faith. Why is relatability important in reaching this generation?
Yeah, that's an interesting question. By the way, I didn't tell you I'm from Cameroon, and I have an elder sister. She's very troublesome. I grew up my whole life playing soccer, and I'm very, very passionate about soccer. I actually wanted to become a professional soccer player. The reason why I do humor and lifestyle is because people can sense performance online, you know. When you're not being genuine, you're not being authentic, you're not being real, people can sense that. And so I wanted to break that barrier of, like, you know, starting from where I am, the point of where I am, right? Just being authentic, why I am. I'm just this graduate that is still figuring out life. Their faith in their walk with God. And it's so inspiring, right? The amount of feedback, positive feedback I've gotten from my content, and that's what really drives me with the youthful community I have around me, which is mainly soccer boys around. So pretty much their content is pretty much to drive young people to live a realistic and authentic lifestyle. And that's what I drive for. To know that your faith doesn't just end in your room. Your faith is something that you should show out there. And so practical steps I take is during the soccer games. I'm very, very bold about my faith, right? I talk about Jesus all the time. You know, there's what they call the boys' locker room. I know you guys are very familiar with the boys' locker room, and there's always these conversations all over the place, and sometimes it really icks me a lot, being a Christian and getting those conversations. So I wanted to break that barrier and let people know that, hey, my faith and my walk with God is not just in my house. My faith and walk with God is out there too. It's showing up, being disciplined, showing the younger ones around me that, hey, this is how you move in life. This is how you do things, right? And I can tell you for a fact, my story and my journey with walk with God has been testimonial, and people around me can see the growth, and I'm very, very privileged that I get to inspire so many people every day. I get random people that, in fact, recently I met someone online. I met the person at the gym, and he said, yo, I know you, I've seen your content. I'm like, wow, so you really? He said, yes, really. Like, you're so fun. Like, that joke you made was so funny. I was like, I'm just doing content. I don't even know if it's funny, but I'm just trying to, you know, be relatable. That's so funny, but guess what? There's something about your lifestyle video that really touched me. Your struggles. And that's something a lot of young men are going through. They're struggling, but they keep it within themselves. Having the vulnerability to come out there, show yourself and talk about your struggles, and being authentic and real about it is something many people can do. And I'm so, so happy that I got the chance to inspire someone like that. And honestly, that's what pushes me to do what I do. It's leading people on the way of the Lord, and leading people knowing that, hey, your journey with God might be rough, but you keep going. You keep going. That's it.
Thank you so much. Yes. I think that's such a beautiful sentiment, because when we see people on social media, it's oftentimes that barrier or wall that's put up, and you only see the highlight reel of their lives. And being somebody that's authentic and really keeping the Lord at the center of your even your social media, not even just your life, but what you post online. I think that's such an inspiration to even students here. Thank you so much. All right, so next question for Tavon. What does it truly mean to lead with purpose, especially in spaces where people are still figuring themselves out?
I feel like leading with purpose simply means being very intentional about what you do in your everyday life, and understanding that your purpose really comes down to your values. But I do think that a struggle that a lot of people might have today is not knowing what their purpose is. And for me, I struggle with that for a bit myself. But for one, surround yourself with a community that's going to speak life into you and truly help you see the best version of yourself. And two, I'd say don't be afraid to take it to God and truly ask Him, like, God, what do you want from me? What do you feel my purpose is? And don't just pray about it, but also make space for His voice. Because I feel like a lot of times we pray and we ask for things, but we never even make the time or space to listen to Him. So it's like when you're in your car driving home, sometimes it's good to be silent or it's good to be still. Like every space that you enter does not have to be filled with commotion. Like God speaks through calmness. He speaks through stillness. But lastly, I'd say, to your point, focus on your impact and not your image. Because I feel like that's something that's catering us from really stepping into our purpose. Today is like, we care too much about what other people are going to think or how we're going to be viewed, especially in a world that is driven by social media. So just really focusing on the people that you're impacting and the things that you want to do, and not focusing on, how people may view you or what people might say, because one thing we can all agree on is everybody's going to have opinions, and a lot of stuff is lame until you make it. So it's like, be bold, and something that I learned as well is being bold is not a personality trait, it's obedience to God. So really step into your purpose with boldness and focus on your impact and not your image.
Yes, that's really good. Thank you, Tavon. All right. Next question is for you, Praise. In a world driven by trends and validation, how do you stay authentic while building a platform?
I say it starts like what you ended off with, bro. Obedience. I think it's really easy to see what everyone else is doing out there and want to just say, hey, I can do this, let me go out there and do it myself. But that's not where, I guess, the answer really lies. I think it's more so about understanding your why. That's something I think Amen said in the beginning. Understanding your why. It's very easy to start creating content because you're passionate about something. But how long can that satisfy? I had skits, I had outfits that I just wanted to put out there. And then it got to a point where that wasn't enough. And that's where I also believe passion isn't enough for you to stay authentic, because we live in a world where, keep it a stack, people are not authentic. Most people, they put this great image out. I mean, you just talked about it a little bit. You put this great image out of like the highlight reel, and some people are even good at fantasizing or making their, I guess, their mishaps look nice or not really tell the full story. And even that in itself is you missing the point of, if I'm going to be me on this platform, I'm going to be fully me. And the only way we can do that if we're stepping into who we're truly called to be. If you don't know who you are from the very beginning, how can you try to share that with other people? And that's what I had to really go through, because, all right, I was able to gain a huge following. I was able to touch a lot of money. I was able to meet a lot of people. But I get to this place of like, all right, what now? Who am I at the end of the day when I come home? I have all these things, but when I talk to people, or not even when I talk to people, I have all these things, but when I come back at home, like, am I able to look myself in the mirror and be okay? Am I content? Or do I need more to, I guess, validate the things that I'm doing? So I guess it just starts off with, you have to be grounded in some type of foundation first. And there's only one foundation, shout out God, but I think starting there before trying to move forward and impact the world, it's like, hey, have you impacted the person next to you? Are you able to, and we're just a leadership conference, are you able to lead from experience and not from being entitled, like someone said earlier? I think that's very important. You can't expect to do or show people things that you yourself haven't tackled yourself, if that makes sense. Yeah.
Thank you so much. All right, and final question. You've built systems for impact at scale. How can young people move from passion to real, sustainable action? It's a little bit low, but.
Everybody, thank you. Okay, thank you for saving the day. I'm flattered by that, to hear that apparently I have created great skills and great impact, but I really attribute that to God. And I always say that I can never take full credit for how far God has brought me, because I did not come from a wealthy family. I did not come from a family that has connections. I was raised by a single mom in Zimbabwe, and I had 2 other siblings. And if you all know Zimbabwe, we're very infamous for the inflation that happened in 2008 that broke the world record, okay? So there were times when things were really hard, and my mom couldn't even get me and my 2 sisters into school. So we're pretty much in and out of school here and there. And it could only have been the grace of God that set me apart to be in the spaces that I find myself in. I went from high school in rural Zimbabwe, I went to a mission school, and then from there, got straight A's, got a scholarship to go to United World College in Mostar, Bosnia and Herzegovina at the age of 16. This was my first time on a plane. This was my first time leaving home and being far away from my family, and it was the only way out. And one of the things that my mom always told us was that for people who do not come from wealthy families like myself, education is your only way to success. Because some of us, we didn't have the internet in Zimbabwe, right? We didn't have, like, I guess, the privilege that a lot of Americans have here. You have access to internet, you have access to resources that are not the norm for a lot of African people. So going to UWC at 16, I always call that my stepping stone, my slippery stepping stone to success. Because this was my first time away from home, away from my family, in a completely different country, in a completely different culture, and I was trying to navigate purpose, identity, and faith. And I would say the only thing that kept me sane and grounded and with direction was my faith in God. It anchored me so much. And it was from that that I would say I learned how important identity is. You cannot pursue your purpose without knowing who you are and whose you are. This is why we even find people who reach billionaire status, but they have midlife crisis because they don't know who they are. They have an emptiness in their soul that cannot be filled by money. It cannot be filled by how successful you have become in your career. So it is a privilege, truly, to be Christian and to be this young and know God. Because in God, you find yourself. He says in His word, when I created you, I knew you in your mother's womb. He told this to Jeremiah, I ordained you a prophet before you were born. So all of us here today, we were given that purpose, we're given that mandate, and we can search it wherever we want, but it can only truly be found in God. And so for me, my passion for policy and politics didn't just start out of nowhere. I have always been an avid lover of politics and policy since a young age, and I think my core panelists here have mentioned how passion is not enough. But your passion is the precursor to your purpose. What you're mostly passionate about is what's leading you to what God has actually called you to do. So the spaces I've had the privilege to be in, interacting with heads of states, being called to different nations to speak on diplomatic matters, to speak on policies. I'm just here like, who am I? As David would say, what is my house that the Lord would remember me? So this really is to hone in on, you cannot have impact. You cannot even have scale. You cannot scale up if you do not know who you are and whose you are. College is a great time for you to really be in the secret place, to take time to understand why God created you, why you have been through the things that you've been through in life. For me, I would have said, oh, I'm so traumatized by the fact that I didn't come from a rich family, all these things happened to us. I would have victimized myself, truly, and it would have been granted, right? I would have said, God, no, I'm out. Deuces, I can't do this, because my faith was tested. But just as Job, his faith was tested, everything was stripped off of him, and the one thing that he kept holding on to was his faith in Christ. So this is to say, this is the time to really find yourself, to really hone in on your purpose. And God is the best strategist. The best strategists I have gotten have been from the secret place. When I was in college, I started an organization, African Women's League, which has now become a global organization, right? And it came from that. I remember being in the meditation room, praying and telling God, God, I see a problem on my campus. I do not see enough African women leading. I do not see enough African women having resources. What do I do? I'm frustrated. And I remember that day, because I got the whole blueprint. Start the organization. It will be called African Women's League. This is the logo. This is the mandate. This is the vision. Go so and so. And everything from there to where I am now, I can attribute it to God. It was not by my own strength. African Women's League right now turns 8. It turns 8 as an organization, and it has also become a global organization that I get to represent at the United Nations, at the World Bank. I got to go to the White House. All of these things, I'm like, that can only be God. So truly, I guess not taking up too much time, identity becomes more clearer when you're also clearer with your relationship with God. And your impact and purpose become greater when you're aligned with Christ. So don't let the world deceive you. Pursue Jesus, because he is the formula to life. Thank you.
Wow. I don't know if y'all are seeing a trend here, but Jesus is the answer to everything that you're going through. I know personally as a student, we always are struggling with the pressure of life and the expectation, especially at Howard University, going to one of the best HBCUs in the country, really seeing people that are doing amazing things that either graduated from Howard or even are still attending Howard. And the pressure to be excellent all the time, every single day is very massive. And so I have a follow-up question for all of you guys. Anybody can take it or multiple people. How can students build with purpose and not feel the pressure will still exist, yes, but knowing that pressure is there, how can they still stay focused on their purpose?
I can go first. Again, like I said, you have to be true to your values and what you stand for, right? You cannot stand for everything. You cannot be a jack of all trades. You really need to hone in on what you're good in. I think this is the practical steps. Take time to sit down, journal if you have to, write it down, and be very real with yourself. What are your strengths? What are your weaknesses? What do you feel you're most passionate about, even with your classes, or the things that you feel you're most drawn to? Those are the things that God really is leading you into, and your career is going to depend on your strengths more. The things that are weaknesses, discipline. You need to come up with routines and structures that really help you to make your weaknesses strengths. They might not be at 100%, but you need to get them at least at an 80%. And lastly, you need community. You really need community. You need to be surrounded by like-minded people, people who speak life into your dreams, people who speak life into your vision, and also hold you up when you cannot do it. So those are the 2 things I would really recommend.
I want to touch. I want to touch on the last thing you said because I think that's really important. The discipline. Was that the last thing? Discipline. I think something I wish I did earlier was see what I was bad in. I didn't peep until recently that I guess I was moving more so on talent instead of hard work. Don't get me wrong, I grew up in a Nigerian household. I know what it means to work hard. Like, you had no choice, really. Then I realized because I knew I was good at stuff, I didn't have to try as hard or be as disciplined in it because my halfway effort was better than most, which sounds cocky, but at the same time, that's you knowing what you're good at. But it was my weaknesses in, for example, organization, communication in, I guess, a proper manner, and something else. I know I'm bad at stuff, but it wasn't until now where I'm forced into a position of leadership where I'm seeing my flaws, and I knew these things were there, but because I was able to excel in other areas, no one saw those things. And now I'm in a position where if I don't correct it or if I don't build that discipline in those areas, I'm not gonna flourish as much as I actually can, you know? So I think along with leaning into the things you're good at, really write down and really find people that can hold you accountable with the things that you're bad at. Because it's, hey bro, you take 2 days to text back to me. That's crazy, right? Call me out on it. Because when it comes to business, if you got a client on your line, you can't not go 2 days without talking to them because they're gonna find new business. It's just like finding the little things that can turn into practical steps that'll help you be a better person, you feel me? So, yeah.
Yes, I definitely feel I agree with you. Both of what you said was really amazing points. I think it's really important to be honest with yourself when you're growing, especially at this age. This is the place to mess up in college, and it's an opportunity to make mistakes, but having people that are above you, even professors that can be honest with you and say, hey, like this is where you can improve. So I think that's a really great point. Okay, we're gonna close out with one question, and then we're going to open up the floor for questions from the audience, all right? So give one final piece of advice to students trying to find their voice, purpose, or leadership path. And we can go in any order. I know it's a heavy one.
Yeah, I'll go. Growing up in an African household, by the way, if you guys don't know me, I'm actually like a replica of my dad. Everywhere I go to, my voice, my persona, my character. Is that not, are you not the son of Mr. Karangong? I'm like, yeah, you guys look like so alike, you know? And it all comes down to the identity purposes, right? So people identify me with my dad. I talk like my dad, I move like my dad, I behave like my dad, and people can identify my dad. So the only advice I can give to young adults who are struggling with identity is, what is your identity in Christ? What is your identity in Christ? Being a soccer player locally will create humor. I struggle with that a lot, my identity, right? I've been to many scenarios, many occasions where my actions didn't reflect where I was, right? And the same way people look at me and identify me with my dad, I wanted people to look at me, identify me with Christ. This is a Christ-like someone. He's different. I've been to so many games, so many events and programs where people looked at me and like, this guy's different. This guy's different. And that's why I am so pushed and I'm so inspired when I inspire young people to become the best version of themselves and continue to grow and walk their faith out every day. Because guess what, at the end of the day, would you identify as money, social norms, portfolio? Who do you identify as? That's a very important question. So yeah, that's it for me.
Okay, I'm gonna try to make it quick. I feel like, for one, just having your faith in God be the foundation so you can make sure you're appropriately aligned with anywhere you go in life. But I want to speak from a perspective, if you do know your purpose, or you feel like you do, and you're trying to figure out how to balance it and how to, as young adults with everything going on in life. And I just want to say, like, if I give you one piece of advice is be disciplined and be consistent now, because your habits will define what type of leader and type of person you are. So like really lean into that. Like let your discipline and consistency weed out the bad habits. You can figure out what works, what doesn't work. Kind of like Praise said, figuring out what you're bad at, what you're good at. But that won't come unless you're consistently disciplined. So like do the things that you don't want to do now and consistently do them so you can weave out everything. And lastly, I would say, I had one more point, my apologies. I'll leave it there. But yes, be consistently disciplined and, yes, lean on your community. Like, seriously lean on your community. You're not meant to do this life alone. So it's like really surround yourself with like-minded individuals, step into those spaces boldly and be vulnerable. Like I know it's hard to be vulnerable, but like be vulnerable with those individuals because that's what's gonna take you to the next step. Hoarding your feelings and everything that you're going through, that's not gonna get you nowhere. So take it to the cross, take it to God, let faith be your foundation, be consistently disciplined and lean on your community.
We'll do one more. Is that okay? We'll do one more.
Something that came to my head was you brought up Jeremiah earlier. And if y'all know the story of Jeremiah, he was actually like, he one of the prophets, but he wasn't one that was like famous in his time, I guess. People didn't like him. He was obedient to God, but people didn't like him. He always said what God wanted him to say, but people didn't like him. And I wanted to just touch on the fact that, yes, you may be passionate about something, you may be really good at something, or you have the idea and you're doing it, but the results don't have to look like how you want them to, or they probably won't, to be very honest with you. Yes, it's great to get recognition, it's great that people can see you and know you and stuff like that, but sometimes, though you are doing what you're meant to do, you're not gonna receive what you like, and that's okay. I think that's something I wish I locked down a little sooner, because if you understand that, yes, I'm still doing good even though it doesn't look like it, you can still keep going, because discouragement is real. We're human. It's going to happen. But it goes back to, you know, your beginning, your foundation and stuff like that. I know if it's in God, I don't have to worry about the follows or the likes, or I don't have to worry about how many people applauded me or whatever. I know that I did what I was meant to do regardless of your reaction. And I think that's what's important, because it's so easy to be fueled by, I guess, gratification nowadays, instead of just knowing that what I'm doing is for my passion or for God at the end of the day. So, yeah.
Thank you all so much. All right, we're going to take one question from the audience, and anybody can ask. Just raise your hand. Yeah. Two questions? Okay, we can do two. Yeah, good.
Praise. Appreciate you guys. First of all, this was really nice. Thank you. It's always nice seeing like young people that are passionate about their faith, and then also like putting in the work, because sometimes it feels like you have to pick one. But with you guys, it seems like we can do both. The question is, a lot of you are like kind of into social media and stuff. I have a startup as well. I think I have the personality for social media, but when it comes to just the noise that it brings, I like the silence, right? Because of just the distraction that comes with like the outside world and like the issues that's going on, and then even just the temptations out there. So how do you guys balance like your work on social media, but still maintaining that silence, you know, in your day to day, if that makes sense? I don't know if that, did it make sense? Yeah.
I know I'm in the crowd right now, but what I just learned is it's like input output, you know? Like if you're taking in so much of social media, so many things online, you're not gonna be able to put out what you actually want, because you're just receiving what other people are doing. So I think you can produce without being a product of that, if that makes sense. So you don't have to be a scroller, you don't have to be constantly locked in on social media for you to be able to make what you want and then go about your life. And I think if you do that in the beginning, it'll make it easier for you to produce more thoughts or produce more content and still be able to live your life without comparing yourself to what other people are doing. But yeah, that's one way in my head.
We'll take one more question, yeah. Yeah. Thank you. Oh.
Okay. This is two parts. What's something that you're afraid of right now? And how can the people in the room support something that you're trying to work on?
Oh, yeah, we go? Okay, I can talk about it a little bit. I know I'm not on the panel, but I'll talk about it a little. Currently, I'm running for Miss Howard University at Howard. And so yes, oh my gosh. It's been an amazing journey so far, but definitely, obviously very stressful. You have kind of the whole university's eyes on you, a lot of criticism, kind of wondering what your next step is going to be, if you're going to live up to the expectation of Miss Howard that the previous Miss Howards have held. And so I would say it's scary in the sense that it's different and it's new, but knowing that I prayed on this endlessly before I even said yes to applying to the position, knowing that this is something the Lord has called me to, has been something that has really grounded me in even the conversations I've had on a day-to-day basis. Because we do campaign every day, we do tabling events and talking to students, and a lot of students ask me, like, why do you want to be here? Because the title and the glory and the honor of Miss Howard is sometimes so large, but in the grand scheme of things, this is just the next step that the Lord has me moving towards. So that's something that removes the fear for me a little bit, even though it's still scary and stressful and crazy and all that, you know, things, but allowing me to focus on Him and knowing that I'm fulfilling my purpose and where He has me has been honestly the fruit of all of it. So yeah.
I want to say one thing quickly.
Yeah, we're gonna do one more and then we'll wrap up. Yeah, sorry.
Just one thing quickly, because the second part to his question, just thinking about like how people can help you, like from an audience or a friend perspective, like pray over your friends as well. Like they really need your support in these times. So like if it's friends of hers, of mine, of his, it's like the things that you guys can be doing, like as we're praying and as we're going through these experiences, continue to pray over us as well, because the enemy knows when we're working and like they don't like that. So like, you know, just continue to pray over us. I would say that.
All right, thank you guys so much. If y'all have questions for them, feel free to grab them at the end of the event. But we're gonna close out, and just remember, y'all, to lead with purpose, stay authentic, and build impact now. Yeah. All right, and then next, I'm gonna introduce the Inner City Missions jingle. Thank y'all.
Thank.
Indigent child and their education. They just see a school bag. Help provide scholastic kids today. Every child deserves a chance to learn to grow to take a stand. Dream of future shining bright. But without scholastic kids, they lose that pride. 20 MSPs you can give. A kid at home, a chance to live. A bag, some books, a pencil too. Success begins because of you. Together we can break the chains. Open doors, erase the pain. Small franchise of the way. Be the reason this mountain air. With 20 MSPs you can give. A kid at home, a chance to live. A bag, some books, a pencil too. Success begins because of
I love that. Thank you for initiating that. Wasn't that so cute? Wouldn't you love to be a blessing? My group pastor always says, this is the affirmation, I am a solution provider. So be a solution provider to those kids. And I just want to thank the previous panel. That was so powerful. And they had a lot of great points, but the one key point that stood out to me was Jesus never liked the person with a victim mentality. And I didn't know that. Think about that. Jesus doesn't like a victim mentality. So whatever you're going through, God knows that you've already overcome because what? Jesus won the battle. Okay? Yes, make some noise. Thank you. So for the sake of time, I have a few interactive questions for you just to make it fun. So the first one would be, what fictional character best represents your leadership style? Can I see a show of hands? What fictional character best represents your leadership style? Thank you.
Hello. My name's
Hi.
Grayson.
Hi, Grayson.
Hi. So currently, what's just been on my mind is Lord of the Rings. 'Cause I've been
Oh.
reading Fellowship of the Ring,
Mhm.
and I feel kind of like a fictional character that represents my leadership style right now is Frodo from that series. Because in the beginning of the Fellowship of the Ring, he starts out, he has no idea what he's doing, and he's just trying to figure out his way through this mission that he's been put on. And I feel kind of similar to that because I'm like, well, coming from Memphis, Tennessee, all the way to DC, and then having like different opportunities presented to me and different like things that I kind of have to do, it's like, well, sometimes I feel a bit lost. I'm like, well, I'm not too sure exactly what's the next step to take, what exactly I should be thinking or doing. But each time throughout the story, when he has a setback, he is given a new opportunity, or he's brought through the situation in whatever way that is meant to bring him to his final destination. And though I have not finished the book yet, I'm still reading it, I feel like from what I know about the characters so far and seeing like the development, I'm like, it's so important to be able to have that flexibility that this main character has, where he goes through his mission, and he ultimately does his best to find his way with his community and with his mentors and with external leadership as well.
I love that. That was in depth. I love that thought process. And that'll be it for the sake of time. I have one more question. I'm so sorry. And I just want to touch on that point. It's not a bad thing to feel lost. And when you feel lost, like everybody has been saying so far, just go to God. You know, just go to God when you feel lost. And let me see. Can we have one more person answer a question? Okay, Ike, go ahead.
Praise God. So the question, my answer to the question, I guess the fictional character that best answers, mimics my leadership style would definitely be Spider-Man.
Okay.
Yes. So I grew up, watching the shows, reading the comic books, and he's a very self-sacrificing type of hero. He has, he works with other superhero teams, but he's never been on one, He's a very popular character. I'm sure we all know, like, maybe his, like, origin story. He gets his powers from the spider bites. He does the whole superhero thing for fun, but then his uncle dies because he was self-centered, and now he's more like a self-sacrificing type. So much to the point that his life is consistently at battle with being a superhero. Like, when Spider-Man wins, Peter Parker loses. Like, he can't really keep a job. He can't necessarily develop a relationship all the time. And I feel like the way I lead, definitely in most parts of my life, is very like, I want to do everything myself, right? I want to be the hero. I want to be the person who's making things happen. But I fail to share my struggles with other people. I fail to let myself be helped by the people who love me, the people who care about me. And it's something I definitely need to change. But it's something I'm learning, that like, you can't be the hero by yourself.
Yes.
You can't save the world by yourself. You have to lean on others. And
Thank you.
course, on
Thank you
Jesus.
so much
Amen.
for that. Thank you. And the only hero in our story is Jesus Christ, so you can't be the hero. Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right, since we're cut on time, I'm just gonna go ahead and, dang, I really had one more fun question. Dang. All right, I just wanna still say the question, just to make sure the people in tech are paying attention. What or what facial expression describes your leadership style? Yes, Tolu. Yeah, facial expression. What facial expression best describes your leadership style? Figure that one out.
Like,
don't
what's
know.
going on?
Okay.
What are you doing?
Okay.
So because it kind of like allows me to, question judgment.
Mhm.
You made a decision or you made a thought, and my next. Okay, what's going
As
on?
how? As
like,
how?
yeah, not
how?
not in the means to disqualify your thought, but to challenge your thoughts pretty much. So if you see me do something like, I promise you the next line of action will be, you want to explain yourself. You would want to explain your thought. You want to explain your, it's called chain of thought. You would want to explain how you thought
How you
to
got
get
there.
to that position. So it's like, talk
In
to me about
code,
it.
guys, he's judging you. That's basically, he's
I'm
judging.
not judging you.
He's judging you. Anyways, thank you so much for that. Yes, okay. So since I've asked questions, this is the last thing I'm going to leave you with. Just ruminate on that real quick. What legacy do you want to leave behind as a leader? Go tonight, think, talk to God, and talk to yourself, because this will determine the next phase of your life, okay? And up next, get ready. I'm introducing the impactful student leaders. Make some noise. Woo! Okay. Thank you. Keep clapping until they come. Keep clapping. Yes. Thank you. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. How you guys doing tonight? Good. You all look beautiful tonight. So my name is Diane Basinga. I'm a third-year architecture and design studies student with a focus in real estate development here at Howard University, and I'm so pleased to host the very last, maybe the best, panel of the night. So tonight I am with 3 beautiful and impactful leaders on each and every campus of Washington, D.C., and I'm gonna leave the floor for you guys to introduce yourself and one thing about you. That's pretty fun. Yeah. Exactly. Ladies first.
Right. Okay. Hello, everyone. My name is Imani Mark. I'm a second-year psychology student minoring in criminology. I'm also a researcher here at Howard, and I do a lot of research in the academic department and the self-efficacy role for students. I created HU Glow, which is a mentorship organization, and I work as a youth advocate here. And yeah, I'm so excited to be a part of this panel. I'm so passionate about helping the community and students and creating relationships and bonds with us. So thank you.
Sorry. Hi, everyone. My name is Joshua Hargrove. I'm a current second-year Howard University School of Law student. Woo! And thank you. And currently, as I matriculate through Howard University undergrad, and now starting at Howard Law, and I'm mostly passionate about real estate and tax, and also create social media posts. And I'm excited to be here. Thank you guys for having me.
Hello everyone, my name is Ali Bryan. I'm a junior. Listen, we've been sitting all day, so I might as well sit down now. But I'm a junior at Washington Adventist University, double majoring in business management and honors interdisciplinary studies. Been able to study in London, Ghana, Ireland. Really passionate about, one, the Lord, number one. Two, you guys, people. Like, we're on this panel, but every single person in the audience can be on this panel too. And I'm specifically passionate about mission-driven healthcare. I have the privilege of interning at Johns Hopkins. I've been able to do a lot of impactful projects, cancer center projects, and at my school I hold several leadership roles. I'm not going to go and give you my whole LinkedIn thingy, but we could connect afterwards. Just to name a few, I've been able to partner with Fox 5 News, led a TV show segment that's currently going on. So just many stuff, but we could talk later.
Thank you so much, everybody. And yeah, one fun thing about me is I'm very passionate by fashion and design at the same time. I spend much of my time doing some content creation, creating designs and flyers. If you look to the left, look around, look to the screens. These are a little bit of my work. And one more fun thing is I had the time to speak with each and every one briefly before the meeting, and I am so excited about what's going to happen right now because I know it's going to be very impactful. So my first question is directed to the beautiful lady right here. Imani, how can students build a strong sense of identity and confidence in environments where comparison and pressure are constant?
That is an amazing question, and it's a loaded question. And it's something that I've been dealing with since high school. So my freshman year, I actually had a battle with identity, and I realized that identity can be tackled through understanding that you have a sense of self before you have an identity, and your sense of self stems from your relationship with God. Mm-hmm. And I realized that so much freshman year because I kept adapting and changing, and it just felt like I wasn't consistent in who I was, and And I realized that, identity is external. It's our race, it's how we look, it's how I speak. That can be what my identity is interpreted as. And I had to realize, leaving the Howard bubble and escaping that noise and looking into my sense of self, my internal compass, was where I could see what experiences and people really aligned with me. When you're in the environment of academia, everything is or can be put up on you. It's, what's your GPA? How many internships are you doing? How many orgs are you in? Are you making an impact? And we're not seeing what truly aligns with us in those environments. Once again, it's systematic, unfortunately, but taking the time to leave campus, which is what I was able to do last year, and having the privilege to leave campus, I was able to connect with God, which is my sense of self, and understand that my identity is going to constantly change because this world is dynamic, but my relationship with God is my foundation, and my sense of self is with God, and that's my foundation. And you can build a strong identity through having a strong relationship with God and your sense of self.
Thank you so much, Imani. Can we have a round of applause for her? She said something very important. She talked about no matter how the world evolves, no matter wherever you go, coming in or out of your comfort zone, the foundation is God. And I really like that answer. Thank you. Our next question is directed towards Joshua. So, as someone breaking generational barriers, how has your journey shaped your understanding of purpose and leadership?
Definitely. Touching on just being first generation, there's no guide path, right? I feel like we're constantly surrounded around people that may be, third or fourth generation, and we could possibly call their parents for help with like FAFSA or housing or things like that. So leaning on your peers that you are meeting throughout the journey, right? Yes, it's like you can reach out to those that are at on the level that you have been, but also to the left and right, the people that are going through the same things as you, because they're helping you along in that path and that guide. And I've been really blessed and privileged to have a good mentors that poured into me, like helping me pay for my LSAT prep, and these things like that. It's like I'm extremely grateful, but I was able to get those opportunities by just talking to people and by making those connections. So even things like this opportunity here, you never know where a connection might lead you, or what doors may open by just simply talking to others, and just opening up and just being authentic, just being truly true to yourself. And those that will really relay with the message that you're putting out, they'll naturally gravitate towards you. So I know a lot, we talked about authenticity, yes, and just because people will radiate towards that, they'll see that, and you'll align more with what it is that you really stand for. So for sure.
Thank you so much, Joshua. What you said just reminded me of something that Pastor Kome told me one day. She said, some blessings are gonna find you because of who you are and because of your differences. I can relate a lot to what Joshua has said, because myself, I'm an international student coming all the way from Senegal. So coming here for college looked like I had to reshape my life, not necessarily the same opportunities or someone close to my family to rely to, but the community I was able to build from being set out of my comfort zone is very priceless and allowed me to reach opportunities that I wouldn't if I was still back home. So thank you so much for that reminder. Such a blessing. And next we have Ali. Yep, Ali. Okay. How can students move from simply existing or surviving on campus to truly thriving in their purpose?
Before I answer that question, can we all stand real quick? Like just stand, like literally just stand up.
Okay.
Because I'm looking, I'm like, you guys are tired. I'm tired. So if I know I'm tired, then y'all must be really tired. And you can sit back down just to have the blood flow, quick reset, quick stretch. So the question you asked was, how can students move from simply existing and surviving to thriving? Well, let's unpack that. First, what does the world say thriving is? Before God's antidote, what does the world say? The world says, and I had to write it down, y'all, because I think faster than I speak. So if I don't write it down, I'm just going boop, boop, boop. But anyways, the world says thriving. The purpose of the world is very like a animal. Oh my gosh, I'm tongue-tied too. It's very animal-like, right? You're born, gather resources, reproduce. We all know what that means, reproduce and die, right? That's literally what the word says. You're born. You gather resources, get money, get that money, right? Let's sing a little bit. And reproduce, find your boo, find your babe, your Ruth, your Boaz if you're a Christian, and put your 401k, your Roth IRA, and die. Is that really our purpose? Is that what it means to thrive? And I love in Genesis, God says we're made in the image of God. And I feel like throughout this whole entire conference or summit, a theme was being said, identity. And we're all student leaders in here. And the beautiful thing is that we always think to struggle means you have to look like, oh, you down, your head, no confidence. The people that struggle the most is leaders. The people that struggle the most is the people you least expect. Because many times as leaders, we're very high, we're high achievers, and we find our identity, as you clearly articulated, in achievement. But there's this guy named Myron Golden, and Myron Golden says, if you only had the book of Genesis, that's all you need. God made Adam and Eve not running, not working. They were laying down. And I love the meaning of Sabbath, because the Sabbath essentially says, like when God said, obey the Sabbath, honor the Sabbath, he was saying that your achievement, your identity is not found in what you do. And we're living in a society today where someone's like, hi, my name is Ali. You like, yo, what's up? I'm like, my name is Ali. I have 5 million subscribers on YouTube and TikTok. Wait, so you only validated me based off of what I did and not who I am? Interesting. And so I clearly want to say, if you were sleeping through this whole thing, that it's a matter of worthiness. Do you feel worthy? Are you that young lady that was sitting right here hosting? God willing, you're gonna get the Miss Oakwood and Miss Howard in Jesus' name. That's another HBCU. However, I'm pretty sure there's some other young ladies and some guys. I know you guys have Mr. Howard that says, you know what? Maybe I want to do that not to serve people, but to be seen. To, oh my gosh, Mr. or Mrs. Oakwood, and so. Howard, I'm sorry, y'all. There's another HBCU that, anyways. But that's simply what it is. So I'll say, what is purpose? And this is my last thing I'm saying. They flashing a timer. They like, yo, shut up. But I need to say this. So I'm going to say it. Purpose is not a fixed role or position. That just set somebody free today. You've been, oh my God, God, what's my purpose? Should I be a professor? Should I be a lawyer? Should I be this? God's like, hold on. You're David. You're you. You're not a title. You have people. You ask them, hey, how are you? So what do you? So who are you? Oh, I'm a doctor. Wait. So you put what you do in the forefront of who you are. Interesting. And your purpose in a thriving means that you live a surrendered life. I was thinking about possibly joining the Air Force because they have some health care. Hell no, I ain't doing that. In Jesus' name. No. I'll tell you why later. But I love their core mission. I was speaking to this guy. He's like a chief deputy officer and all that stuff. Was able to connect with him on LinkedIn. And I was like, hey, tell me about your Air Force experience. He said, get what he said. He said, Ali, they don't say we work in the Air Force. It's I'm in the Air Force. And how it works is you're on an assignment by assignment basis. So it's like you're a doctor here, the next time you're doing this. And so literally purpose, what it means to thrive is saying, look, my identity is found in him. I don't need to work for it. I don't need to earn it. I am special. I am seen, right? I'm worthy. I can rest, and that's enough. And lastly, what it means is that you're saying, God, my purpose is not fixed on what I do. It's simply being faithful, where you say, I want you here. Yes, Lord. I want you there. Yes, Lord. That's it. But you are seen, you are special, and most importantly, you are enough.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And something that's so important that I'm noticing as we're going through this panel is that we have 4 different identities, yet we have leadership. And this is what our panel is about, being authentic within our leadership on campus. So thank you all so much for your answers. And I'm gonna pick 2 people among you guys to answer this following question, which is, what is one thing students should stop doing today to grow? On campus, in their personal life, out of campus, whatever comes to your mind, I wanna hear your answer.
Got something.
Hello? Okay. So I'm sorry, you guys are probably tired of hearing me say the same thing. H-U-G-O. But I just created that freshman year. I'm a sophomore, so last year. And I really battled on doing it. It was a lot of doubt. I didn't think that it was purposeful or that people would interact. I was scared of the rejection that would come from it. So I would say to anybody who wants to lead or who wants to do some sort of changes, to not be scared of the negativity that can come from it. And, you know, like we're all saying, everything is systematic. Unfortunately, we're always looking at the external factors, but if you're feeling like you're helping somebody, which is what I did, I was only able, HUGO was around for like 2 months, 3 months. We only had 200 followers. Nobody was really engaging with us, but the 5 people that I was able to help and the impact that I had on them was so moving, and it kept me going. And we've grown, like I said, we have over 400 mentors and 400 mentees. So imagine if I would have stopped because I was scared of the rejection and I wasn't seeing as much growth as I wanted to in, you know, that short amount of time. So I would say, don't be afraid of negativity and not seeing your goal immediately.
Exactly. And today is just the proof of what she's been working with, because most of our volunteers, why are you here for? Because I follow HUGLOW. So don't be scared about that vision or that plan that God has given you, because even if it feels like it has no impact in the beginning, those 5 people that you're impacting might be the leader of thousands of people. Quality impact is better than having a bunch of followers and you're feeding them with things that are not meant to be for them, or things that are not driven to the purpose that God has for their life. So
if I can also add, well said, 2 things. Stop being a people pleaser, as well as stop diluting your presence to make others comfortable. That's huge, because I have a life coach this year, and I realized I'm gonna say I'm a former people pleaser. And the thing is, have you ever dressed real nice? Like, you dressed real good and you walked in a room and you were like overdressed, you like, dang, and now you like, oh man, like,
every day.
Come on, model, you better not. I'm saying. And so it's like, God is saying, look, my life coach told me something that was so transformative. It like unlocked something mentally. She said, Ali, you will offend people. And many of us, including myself, have been living on eggshells, saying, I don't want to offend.